Chapter 839. King 9 Toughness and Death Spirit King looked at Svika. Svika, Death Spirit King said solemnly, although I am not willing to admit it, I have to say, with Silver Wing King's strength and his human allies, we have no way of killing him. Yes. King 9 Toughness nodded. Damn it. Svika gritted his teeth. He was unwilling. If his 9 Absolutes Divine Kingdom was in perfect condition, he would be able to trap Silver Wing King with just the 9 Absolutes Divine Kingdom, preventing him from escaping. Moreover, 9 Ultimate God Nation contained a forbidden attack mode. Back when Svika was fighting the Golden Horned Beast, he had hesitated to use it, because the price of a forbidden attack was too high. One forbidden attack cost 1 billion units of Yulan. Of course he hesitated. How much would it cost to hire a peak-stage king-conferred martial artist to help? This hesitation, it was too late. Afterwards, the Golden Horned Beast relied on the Zerg army to unleash its strongest combined attack when the entire 9 Extremes God Kingdom was accumulating energy. They actually managed to destroy a base ship. This caused Svika to jump up in anger. Death Spirit King, King 9 Toughness. Svika looked at the two and comforted them. This is my mistake. Since we can't do anything to Silver Wing King, we will give up for now. As for the two of you, you have spent a lot of effort on this. Death Spirit King even rushed back from Star Tower. I will make it up to the two of you. King 9 Toughness and Death Spirit King's eyes softened. The two of them had been busy for a long time. Seeing that there was no hope of dealing with Silver Wing King, they did not ask for a high price like they had initially. At the very least, they would get some compensation. Automaton Virtual World. After comforting Death Spirit King and King 9 Toughness, Svika came to his residence. He sat on an alloy chair and looked at the information on the screen. The plan has a 99% chance of killing Silver Wing King. Svika's face revealed a pained expression. But this will use up almost all my cash. Is it worth it? I can lower my head and ask Master to refine the 9th pedestal ship for me. Even if I refine it, it will only be a few billion Yulan units. This plan will use up almost all my cash. Svika was struggling in his heart. In order to appease King 9 Hardness and the Death Spirit Lord, he had only given each of them 200 million units of Yulan as an apology gift. He had not accomplished anything at all, so this small amount of gift was already quite generous. This meant that Svika hadn't spent too much to chase after Luofeng, only a few 100 million units of Yulan. However, this proposal was ridiculously expensive. Whatever. Anyway, after I buy it, if I don't use it in the future, I can sell it again. Even if I don't deal with Silver Wing King, I still have a trump card in my hand. Svika gnashed his teeth. I'll buy it. Immediately, Svika began to place orders. The machinery race was more inclined to rely on various kinds of mechanical weapons to fight. Therefore, as long as one was wealthy enough, they could purchase powerful weapons and, of course, deal with experts. In fact, if one had a huge amount of wealth to purchase an SSS Divine Spirit base, even a supremacy would not be able to do anything to it. One attack, and even a peak stage king-conferred would die without a doubt. This was the charm of mechanical weapons. At the same time, it was incomparably extravagant. In the endless ice field of the sacrificing flame continent, the Silver Wing King and the Star Illusion King appeared out of thin air at the bottom of the endless ice field. Star Illusion King, thank you for your help. The Silver Wing King let out a low rumbling voice. I didn't do much. I just teleported. The Star Illusion King's voice was gentle. Her misty wings gently flapped. Her alluring figure was faintly discernible. She laughed softly. To be able to personally witness the Silver Wing King's flying technique in the space shards, it can be considered a bonus. Right, Silver Wing King, looking at your flying technique with your level of attainment in this area, you should have comprehended teleportation. The Star Illusion King asked. I comprehended the part of teleportation and the part of space strangulation. Combining the two, I formed a special flying technique. My energy has all been spent on this. However, in the future, I will try my best to comprehend teleportation. The Silver Wing King replied. The Star Illusion King was shocked. At the same time, he said respectfully, combining teleportation and space strangulation to create a special flying technique? That's really admirable. The space laws could indeed be split into teleportation, space strangulation, and space lock, these three main categories. Every category was split into many smaller categories. Like teleportation, it could be split into dead object teleportation, space resonance, body merging with space, and many other smaller categories. Only by solving all of them would one have the ability to teleport. This was just one of the categories. Just like how humans could be split into men and women, they could also be split into infants, children, youths, adults, and old. According to different theories, there were indeed many ways to categorize them. After all, the different categories combined to form a whole space law. Naturally, the different categories could be merged together. You're too kind. The golden horned beast said seriously. That's the truth. In terms of instantaneous flying speed, amongst all the emperors I've seen, you're definitely number one. The Star Illusion King said. Thank you. The golden horned beast wasn't arrogant at all, because he was clear, that excuse was just something he made up. As someone with some accomplishments in the space laws, naturally he could come up with a suitable excuse. In terms of flying, he relied on the universe treasure, slaying Wu Wings. After bidding farewell to Star Illusion King, Luo Feng returned to his Earth body and swiftly sat in the ship above the endless ice fields, preparing to find a new nest. While he was flying in the ship, Luo Feng couldn't contain his curiosity and excitement. He let the Masha clansman and golden horned beast begin to study the treasures from the black armored youth. Within the world of the World Ring, the black-clothed Luo Feng and the golden horned beast both appeared there. The black-clothed Luo Feng had 2 world rings on his hand. These were the spoils of war from the Memory Clan black-armored youth. To be able to make the earth body and golden horned beast feel a strong calling, every cell in their bodies trembling in excitement, just what treasures are within? The black-clothed Luo Feng held one of the world rings that had a shocking calling. Beside him, the golden horned beast immediately used its spirit energy to permeate it. Rumble! The black-armored youth was long dead. The life imprint on the world ring was like water without a source. It was extremely weak and fragile. It immediately dispersed and the spirit energy permeated within. Hua-la-la-la, large amounts of spoils of war were immediately transported to the ground by the golden horned beast. It's this. Following the strong calling from the golden horned beast, the black-clothed Luo Feng reached out and grabbed the item. This was a palm-sized, completely black. It was incomparably light, cold and glossy, like caressing a piece of jade. It was exactly the same as the black metal board Luo Feng discovered on Earth back then. It was made from the exact same material. Its size was similar to. More accurately speaking, it was slightly bigger. The second black metal board. Black-clothed Luo Feng held his breath. It's actually this. He could feel the armor and soldier armors. To be able to obtain such a terrifying technique that even humanity's treasure trove didn't have, the nameless manual. It was all because of this black metal board. This was the foundation of the inheritance. No wonder the calling from my body far exceeds that of the armor and soldier armors. Luo Feng thought. Actually, just this metal board's material. It's much more mysterious than any of the G-grade metals I know of. Within it should be the nameless manual. I hope there's information on the second level. Luo Feng anticipated. The nameless manual had a total of 9 levels. The black metal board from Earth back then only allowed Luo Feng to learn the first level. And this second black metal board might not have the second level's information. It was hard to say, it could be the 7th or 8th level. If that was the case, if he didn't train in the middle, he wouldn't be able to train in the later levels. He would have to train one level after another. Just like the Nashi race, even if he got the black metal board, without the first level's information, he wouldn't be able to train. Howl! The golden horned beast let out a low growl. It lowered its head and its spirit energy permeated the black metal board. My child. Following the voice that permeated Luo Feng's consciousness, this was the same experience as the first time Luo Feng inspected the first black metal board. The same voice, followed closely by the endless illusions. However, in terms of willpower, Luo Feng was obviously much stronger than before. Very quickly, he made it through. Following which, just like before, large amounts of words and information entered the golden horned beast's spirit energy, allowing it to obtain large amounts of information. The information this time was much more than before. There were a total of 59,103 words in the Flame God race's language. The contents this time were mainly the 2nd, 5th, and 7th levels, of which the 2nd and 5th levels had completely filled up the original flaws. The 7th level, however, only had an additional 3,000 words. It was far from complete. Right now, a nameless manual 9 levels. 1st level, complete. 2nd level, complete. 3rd level, incomplete. 4th level, incomplete. 5th level, complete. The last 4 levels were all incomplete. Ha ha, it's really a gift when I'm sleepy. I always thought that my earth body and the golden horned beast's body strength wasn't enough, hence I got this second black metal board. The 2nd level is still complete, at least I can train immediately. Black-clothed Luo Feng was beside, his face filled with excitement. Howl! The golden horned beast raised its head and let out an excited howl. Excited, excited. This was breaking through the limits of one's genes. Such a technique, other than the nameless manual, Luo Feng had never even heard of it before. With Luo Feng's position and authority within humanity, he had access to many techniques. Even the primal Chaos City leader and other tyrants' techniques, he had access to some. However, he had never seen such a technique that should have been destroyed by the universe origin laws. It shouldn't exist. To train the 2nd level, it'll probably take some time. Black-clothed Luo Feng muttered to himself. Back then, during the 1st level, the earth body took 3 months, the golden horned beast took 29 years. This 2nd level will take some time too. I'm not in a rush to train now. Let's see what other treasures this Nashi youth has. To be able to get the black metal board, he must have had great luck. To be able to use time stop at an emperor level with such great luck, he might even have other treasures. After keeping the 2nd black metal board, he began to carefully search through all the treasures left behind by the black-armored youth. Chapter 840. All of the items left behind by the black-armored youth were taken out and thrown into the vast grassland. The items added together covered an area of over 10,000 kilometers. Even though there was a lot, the precious ones were after all few. One of the items immediately attracted Luo Feng's attention. A 29-centimeter long segment of 1,000-year light? The black-clothed Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at a laser-like substance. This 29 centimeters long light landed on the grass. If one were to look closely at this light, they would feel the time around them distort, and they would be immersed in it. 1,000-year light, a peculiar substance. It was a precious material used to create time weapons. Such a material could only be found in a black hole core, or in some special universe secret regions. It was priceless. This 29 centimeters piece of 1,000-year light, even if I were to buy it, I would have to spend 3 billion points in the treasure trove. Black-clothed Luo Feng muttered, this Nashi race warrior actually has such a treasure material. Green light white dew wood, length 32 kilometers, cross-section diameter between 1 m and 2 m, thickness varies. 9 pure light sand, 360 pellets. Black-clothed Luo Feng swiftly discerned, the more he looked the happier he got. Looks like this Nashi youth has accumulated so many materials. He definitely wants to create an extremely powerful time law weapon. Luo Feng muttered, that black whip's material is not bad, it can be big or small, and it also contains time law engravings. However, it's estimated to be around 100 million to 200 million points. How could it compare to these? Just these materials alone cost me about 8 billion points, and that's just the points I had to pay for them. I'm afraid the Navagraha youth paid even more. If this weapon is forged, it'll be incredibly powerful. After going through all of the items once, black-clothed Luo Feng smiled. Very good. The efficiency of accumulating merits and treasures, how could it compare to killing people with background? One kill could get large amounts of treasures. Of course, the bigger the background, the harder it was to kill. Like killing the black-armored youth. It wasn't as hard as killing the automaton Tswaika. Compared to killing Luo Feng, killing Tswaika was much easier. Black-armored youth, Tswaika, Luo Feng. They all had backgrounds, and their backgrounds were getting bigger and bigger. If he succeeded in killing Luo Feng, killing Wu Yu's wings, beast god weapon, Locke's god water, black metal plate, general armor, that would be a huge haul. Even though they had backgrounds, the black-armored youth, Tswaika, the knights behind them didn't dare barge into the foreign battlefield. As for Luo Feng's teacher, the Primal Chaos City leader, back then the Primal Chaos City leader himself said, he didn't wish to see the day Luo Feng called for help. After all, the Primal Chaos City leader barged into the foreign battlefields, even though with his position, he dared to do so. It was a little embarrassing. If he wasn't forced to the last moment, the Primal Chaos City leader wouldn't be willing to do that. Yes. Not bad. Black-clothed Luo Feng nodded. The golden-horned beast at the side was looking down at the countless items. Suddenly it was attracted by a seemingly normal crystal. The golden-horned beast suddenly lowered its head. Its dark golden eyes stared at the seemingly normal crystal amongst the countless items. This was a seemingly normal transparent crystal, in the shape of a multifaceted sphere. Whoosh! The black-clothed Luo Feng also flew to the side and stared. The multifaceted spherical crystal was about the size of a soccer ball. It landed on the ground and looked very ordinary. Shio! A thread of world energy scanned the surface of the crystal, and after studying it, it immediately permeated within to study it. 1. As the world energy permeated within, the crystal suddenly lit up. Hua! Rainbow-colored lights, with this multifaceted sphere as the center, shot out in all directions, almost like a glaring rainbow-colored sun. The endless rainbow light immediately enveloped the entire world. Under this endless rainbow light, the black-clothed Luo Feng and the golden-horned beast both felt the time distort. My God! Black-clothed Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. How? The golden-horned beast roared softly, its dark golden eyes too staring wide. The two great bodies stared at the seemingly normal crystal before, but now it was glaring and emitting an endless rainbow light that enveloped the entire world. That mysterious and powerful energy, and the strange feeling of time distort, this made Luo Feng immediately understand. Treasure! I've picked up a treasure! Damn, this is that black-armored youth's true treasure. I've always been curious. He's only an initial emperor level, how can he unleash the time pause? This move's difficulty is rumored to be even harder than teleportation. It has to be this treasure. Luo Feng muttered, staring hard at the incomparably glaring crystal. Actually back then when the Nashi clan youth unleashed the time pause, Luo Feng only thought it was a combination of his natural abilities and origin law comprehension. Right now looking at this mysterious crystal ball, Luo Feng was certain in an instant that it was most probably because of this crystal ball. Luo Feng had seen treasures before, but one with such a huge energy was rare. Chi chi chi, the crystal ball began to emit a dense amount of mysterious words. These peculiar words were like origin law engravings. Even though Luo Feng didn't understand these words, he understood with one look. These words. Luo Feng stared. Demon Note Inheritance. These are the words I saw during the inheritance. Yes. Luo Feng had only seen these mysterious words once before. Back at Demon Note Mountain, when he received the Demon Note Inheritance, the words that appeared in the Inheritance Palace were these mysterious words. He didn't understand these words at all, yet it allowed him to easily understand what they meant. It was very mysterious. The content was simple. The main idea was, this is the Dreamlight God Envoy's Inheritance Crystal. Any Sector Lord level life form with a soul can receive the complete inheritance. After receiving the inheritance, you can begin training the Dreamlight God Envoy technique. Once the entire technique is trained to perfection, you will be a God Envoy candidate. The candidate can absorb this inheritance crystal within your body. If you succeed, you will become the new Dreamlight God Envoy. In the vast universe, there's only one Dreamlight God Envoy. If the current Divine Emissary Dreamlight is still around, the other successors can only become Divine Emissary Dreamlight candidate. Only when the current Divine Emissary Dreamlight perishes will a new Divine Emissary Dreamlight appear amongst the Divine Emissary Dreamlight candidate. The inheritance crystal can only be passed down once every 10,081 eras. The last time this inheritance crystal was passed down was 82 eras ago. There's still about 9,999 eras before the next one. The black-clothed Luo Feng blinked after reading. He finally understood. This Dreamlight God Envoy inheritance seemed to have been trained to perfection by more than one person. Obviously, the training difficulty was much lower than the Demon Note inheritance. Back then the Demon Note inheritance had already said, yet over countless years, no one had been able to receive the entire inheritance. And the method of inheritance seemed different too. The Demon Note inheritance was one step at a time. Reaching the end of the steps was when the training was completed. The Dreamlight God Envoy inheritance, however, required one to first receive the entire technique and train it. Once it was completed, one would become a God Envoy candidate. When the current Dreamlight God Envoy falls, only then would he succeed. I still have to wait for 9,999 eras before the next inheritance can begin? Damn. 100 million years. Luo Feng laughed involuntarily. Looks like this inheritance crystal was obtained by that Nashur youth from the last inheritance. He must have obtained this mysterious inheritance technique, hence he was able to unleash the time-stop technique. What do I do with this inheritance crystal? Luo Feng muttered. This was a treasure, however he couldn't use it at all. Just by guessing, he could guess that it had something to do with the time laws. And he walked the path of the Beast God. His path of the Beast God was the true path to the Universe Lord level. The main thing was space and gold. Naturally, he wouldn't waste time studying the time laws. Everyone had their own specialties. Time had to be spent on what he was good at. Unable to use it, this didn't diminish its value at all. This was an inheritance crystal. Every 10,081 eras, it could only be inherited once. Its value was indeed hard to determine. I can't use it either. It's a waste on me. Even if someone wants to use it, they'll have to wait until after 9999 eras. Luo Feng shook his head. I'm afraid only the warriors that have lived long enough have the patience to wait. I have to ask my teacher how to deal with this treasure. Luo Feng immediately made his decision. Dreamlight God Envoy's inheritance crystal. Luo Feng hadn't even seen it in the treasure trove. Obviously it was an extremely rare treasure. Such a treasure, going to ask the Primal Chaos City leader, was the easiest way to deal with it. Teacher Tru Yen trains in the space laws. Right now he's stuck at the last step, becoming a Universe Lord. This treasure is useless to him too. Luo Feng was very grateful to Tru Yen. If he could help his teacher, he would be willing. It was just that. Tru Yen was stuck at the last step, Many treasures were useless to him. The treasures that were useful were things Luo Feng couldn't take out. Virtual universe, Thunder Island's highest peak. Within the endless chaos energy flow there was a palace. That was the primal chaos city leader's palace. Shua. Luo Feng appeared outside the entrance of the palace. After entering, he walked in step by step. Teacher. Standing in the palace, Luo Feng bowed respectfully. What business do you have with me? A calm voice resounded from within the chaos energy flow. Your disciple was in the outer region battlefield, and coincidentally acquired a treasure. Luo Feng said respectfully. This treasure, your disciple has never seen it before. It's only when I was inspecting it that mysterious words automatically appeared on the crystal. Only then did I know that it was the inheritance crystal of the Dreamlight God Envoy's inheritance. God Envoy Inheritance Crystal? The primal Chaos City leader walked out from the endless energy flow. Even though he didn't reveal his energy, his life force was truly high and mighty. Luo Feng couldn't help but feel a sense of submission. The primal Chaos City leader's expression was casual. His eyes were as deep as the starry sky. After which he revealed a smile. You were actually able to acquire a God Envoy Inheritance Crystal. Your luck is not bad. The Great Alliance only has a total of 8,000 God Envoy Inheritance Crystals. As for the Dreamlight Inheritance Crystal, there's only one in the Alliance. It's considered extremely rare. Ah. Luo Feng blinked. Don't be surprised. The primal Chaos City leader said. Back when you received the Demon Note Inheritance, there were 32 Demon Note Inheritance Palaces. Even if Dreamlight God Envoy had tens or hundreds of inheritance crystals, what's so strange about that? P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 841. Luo Feng was disappointed within. No matter if he wanted to sell the inheritance crystals or use them for other things, the rarer they were the better. Now that he heard, Dreamlight God Envoy actually had tens to hundreds of them. The entire Hong Alliance has more than 8,000 Oracle's inheritance crystals. Among them, there are 101 Oracle's inheritance crystals of the same type. The primal Chaos City leader stood there, energy swirling around him. Dreamlight God Envoy Inheritance Crystal, there's only one in the Great Alliance, hence the value of yours is higher. Luo Feng was delighted within, continuing to listen carefully. The God Envoy Inheritance is lower than the God General Inheritance by a level. The primal Chaos City Master said, even if one cultivates the God Envoy Inheritance to great success and becomes a God Envoy candidate, one would only be at the peak of the Emperor level. Only by merging with the Inheritance Crystal and becoming a God Envoy of a certain type, would one have the strength of a normal Universe Lord, which is the strength of your teacher True Yen. Teacher True Yen Emperor? Luo Feng was shocked. The primal Chaos City leader nodded. Your teacher True Yen Emperor can be said to be an emperor, undying, invincible, comparable to a normal universe knight. This is the power of God Emissary Dreamlight and the other God Emissaries. As for those God Emissary candidates, although they have all reached large success in their secret techniques, they can only be considered peak experts. They can't be compared to ordinary universe supremacies. Also, there's a downside to accepting the inheritance. If you don't train it to completion, it's fine. The moment you do, then your lifetime's limit will be the God Envoy. The primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng, meaning to say, training the special techniques of the God Envoy Inheritance, even though your early strength is very strong, the moment you reach completion, you'll be affected by the technique, forever unable to become a true Universe Knight. Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. Unable to become a Universe Knight? Indeed, fortune and misfortune go hand in hand. The early strength is so strong, yet unable to become a Universe Knight. To become a Universe Knight, it's already extremely difficult, hence many geniuses don't have that huge of an ambition, even willing to take the initiative to train in the God Envoy Inheritance. The primal Chaos City leader said, as the God Envoy inheritance has to be received by sector lords, undyings are unable to receive it, hence the price of each inheritance isn't considered high. Luo Feng nodded. Right. For a world overlord to accept the inheritance, how high could the price be? Usually, it's their teacher who pays for it. In the Hong Alliance, if you accept the Oracle's inheritance once, you can exchange points for it. The price is between 1 billion and 3 billion. Different inheritances have different powers and prices. The primal Chaos City Lord said, if it's the inheritance of a god general, then it's different. Those titled emperors and undying are all fighting to get a chance at the inheritance, and even asking their teachers for help. Every chance they get is worth tens of billions of points. At the same time, their teachers have to ask other experts for help, owing a bunch of favors. Tens of billions of points plus a bunch of favors, only to barely get a chance to inherit the God General. The primal Chaos City Master said, you should know how precious the God General's inheritance is. For example, True Yen has received the inheritance of a divine general. Oh. Luo Feng was curious. The divine emissary inheritance's ultimate limit is the Regis. Even if you become the only divine emissary, you will only be comparable to an ordinary universe supremacy. The inheritance of a divine general is 1 trillion times more difficult. Once you receive the complete inheritance, you will be at the limit of a universe supremacy. Even if you face a lord of the universe, you will have a certain chance of surviving. Your strength is comparable to the creator of the 7 transformations, Herodo. Similar to the Tianshi Palace leader even though he hasn't truly reached the universe lord level, he can still be considered an overlord of the universe. The primal Chaos City Lord said, of course the inheritance of a divine general is incredibly difficult. It's very rare for anyone to receive the complete inheritance. Even so, the benefits are huge. It's definitely comparable to training in a soul amplification technique, or a body amplification technique. Luo Feng nodded. After receiving the inheritance, his soul amplification had already exceeded over 3,200. God Emissary Inheritance, Divine General Inheritance. The difference is too huge. The difference in strength is huge too, the difference in future is huge too. Hence within the Great Alliance, the difference in points exchange is huge too. The primal Chaos City Lord looked at Luo Feng. As for the Dreamlight God Emissary Inheritance Crystal you received, it's useless in your hands. You have 2 choices now. 1. Sell it to the Virtual Universe Company. The price is 30 billion points. Second, you can use it to exchange for a chance at the Divine General Legacy, because the Divine General Legacy only appears once every 10,081 epochs in every legacy land. Hence, a suitable inheritance for you will only appear after 120,000 years. 2 choices, choose yourself. After the primal Chaos City Lord finished, he didn't speak further, quietly waiting for Luo Feng's reply. Luo Feng's heart was in a mess. 2 choices, it was really hard to choose. The 30 billion points had many uses, it could be exchanged for various treasures. If used well, it could allow one's strength to rise at a crucial time. Who knew, at certain times, what treasures he would need? After all, this was hard to predict. The chance to inherit the God General's inheritance was even more precious, causing countless Emperor-level undyings to fight for it. Their Universe Knight teacher had to help too, with tens of billions of points and a bunch of favors to earn this spot. Luo Feng, who had received the Demon Note inheritance, was very clear on how powerful this inheritance was. If he were to receive the body type inheritance, his body amplification might instantly increase by 10 times. That would be amazing. Training deities of the world to its limit, it was only 36 times. How do I choose? Even though the inheritance is good, it has to be 120,000 years later. Within these 120,000 years, I won't get any benefit. Luo Feng frowned. If it were any other warrior, they would probably immediately choose the slot. However, Luo Feng was different. Luo Feng had only lived for a few thousand years, 120,000 years? To him, it was a very long period of time. Just a few thousand years and his accomplishments were already this high. In these 120,000 years, how much would he grow? What encounters would he have? There would definitely be times where he would need points. Luo Feng stood there, intensely thinking for a full 20 seconds. With his mental processing speed, it was unknown how many times he had thought. Teacher, Luo Feng said respectfully, have you thought about it? The primal Chaos City Lord looked at him. Your disciple wishes to temporarily keep the inheritance crystals, whether to exchange for points or the slot for the inheritance. I'll choose again in the future when the time comes. Luo Feng said respectfully. That's fine too. The primal Chaos City Lord nodded. I'll help you keep the slot for the inheritance. That slot is for the four-way generals. I'll keep it for you until 120,000 years later. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng was grateful. How could there be such a thing as keeping the slot? If he wanted it, he wanted it. This was purely the primal Chaos City Lord helping him. Go. Yes. Luo Feng retreated respectfully. Watching Luo Feng vanish from the palace, the primal Chaos City Lord standing in the palace nodded, looking at the battle footage of Luo Feng in the army system. He actually easily killed an official pinnacle, even using the Fire God Crystal Explosion to kill an Emperor-level beginner level. Even though the Slaying Wu Feather deflected a lot of the impact, but the Slaying Wu Feather is after all proficient in flying. Attack and defense are just supplementary. Its golden horned beast clone was actually able to withstand the explosion of the Emperor high-level Fire God Origin Crystal under such circumstances. Looks like this disciple of mine is even more mysterious than I thought. I wonder what encounters he had. The inheritance of a powerful warrior from another race? Or was it some kind of special treasure born in the universe? And it's even before the Great Apocalypse. The primal Chaos City Lord shook his head. He has the encounters, however becoming strong still depends on the individual. Let's see how far this disciple of mine can reach. The primal Chaos City Lord knew a lot about Luo Feng. However, with regards to the nameless manual, armor and general armor, he knew nothing at all. Humanity's knowledge in this area was currently a blank slate. However, as he was constantly observing Luo Feng's growth, the primal Chaos City Lord naturally deduced that Luo Feng had a very powerful and terrifying encounter. Only with the knowledge of the primal Chaos City Lord, there were many possibilities, but he couldn't confirm which one it was. Outside the battlefield, Yanji continent, within a cave within a normal mountain range, Luo Feng had temporarily made this his base. The mini-scanning device was activated. The Cloud Contact Vine 2 spread out to a 10 kilometers area of alert. The Masha clansmen became a rock within the cave. As for Luo Feng's earth body and golden horned beast, they began to train in the Nameless Manual's second level. The second level is much harder than the first. Woo! The genes actually evolved once more, that's unbelievable. As he trained, Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim. The first level, the genes had long evolved far beyond normal human sector lords. Now the second level actually evolved again. With Luo Feng's estimation, if he continued training like this, his human body's genes would probably evolve to a level comparable to a normal golden horned beast. Humans and golden horned beasts, the genetic difference was huge. Relying on the Nameless Manual, he could still make up for it. A technique that surpassed the universe laws. It was just that unbelievable. Pung! The golden horned beast's body completely crumbled, after which it formed a new golden horned beast and continued with the second level. During the second month of Luo Feng's second level, virtual universe, Yuxiang Mountain Primal Region, Luo Feng's villa. Your Majesty, those are the envoys from the Great Alliance. The housekeeper Dylan pointed at the distant villa entrance. Luo Feng walked over, frowning. Great Alliance? Outside the villa's huge door stood a group of undyings. They all looked different, some were human, some were other races, a total of 9 warriors. Attention all. Luo Feng walked over, slightly suspicious. He could feel the formless consciousness pressure from these warriors. They were all Emperor level. Your Majesty, Luo Feng. The leader was dressed in pink armor, she had pink long hair, her entire body was almost translucent. She smiled, her smile even affected Luo Feng. We are the Great Alliance's envoys, we have come here to officially invite Your Majesty Luo Feng to join us. Chapter 842. Luo Feng frowned. Inviting him to join the Great Alliance? According to the information he had read about the Great Alliance, along with chatting with the other human warriors, normal undyings would usually receive an invitation when they were officially appointed emperor. Becoming an emperor was one of the basic requirements to enter the Great Alliance. He had never heard of sector lords being invited to join the alliance. Everyone please enter. Facing such a matter, I'm caught off guard. How about we sit and discuss? Luo Feng smiled and asked. Your Majesty's invitation, we definitely won't reject it. This team of envoys from the Great Alliance, under Luo Feng's lead, passed through the vast villa and reached the living room. Within the living room, Luo Feng had already ordered the servants to prepare a sumptuous banquet. Everyone please sit. Luo Feng smiled. The group of Great Alliance members all sat down, simultaneously looking at this Majesty Luo Feng with interest. Since they were arranged to be part of the envoys, they naturally understood Luo Feng. They knew that this Luo Feng before them was the direct disciple of one of the highest beings of humanity, the primal Chaos City leader. And he was invited to join the Great Alliance when he was a sector lord. This all showed how extraordinary this Majesty Luo Feng was. I still don't know you all. Luo Feng sat last. Human, Desire Emperor. The leader was an absolute beauty, dressed in a pink armor that only covered her important areas. Her exposed body was a translucent human lady, every frown and smile was enough to move one's soul. Ferocious Clan, Lightning Chasing Emperor. Fog Clan, Water Drop Emperor. The 9 envoys all replied. A total of 2 humans and 7 other races, all of them Emperor level. Ah, they're all Emperor level. Luo Feng smiled and complimented. I rarely see so many emperors at once, and so many other races too. The weakest in the Great Alliance is at least emperor level, it's not worthy of praise. Desire Emperor's smile was enough to make even an undying soul go crazy. I'm sure Your Majesty knows why we're here. The Great Alliance is a very inclusive alliance, formed by the human race and many other races in the universe. We definitely won't force you to join. However, the moment you join, you cannot betray the alliance. I wonder if Your Majesty Luo Feng is willing to join? The other envoys all looked at Luo Feng. Of course I'm willing. Luo Feng nodded. What a joke. All the super experts of the human race were there, so who would dare to not join? His 2 teachers were part of it, so how could he dare to not join? Moreover, by joining them, one would be able to get to know almost all the titled undying kings of the human race. This was the core place to truly expand one's influence and make friends. Ding! The moment Luo Feng's words left his mouth, a glaring star suddenly condensed in the middle of the living room. The stars shone brightly. After that, it gradually shrunk into a beam of light and flew onto Luo Feng's arm guard, revealing a small star. Boom! At the same time, a blurry human silhouette floated in mid-air. Under that formless pressure, even though the 9 imperial envoys and Luo Feng could vaguely see the silhouette, they couldn't raise their heads to look at it. He was like an ant in front of a god, unable to resist at all. The human silhouette lowered its head, gazing at Luo Feng. Human Luo Feng. The silhouette let out a voice. It was hard to tell if it was a male or female voice, piercing straight into one's soul. Welcome to the Hong Alliance. From now on, you are an official member of the Hong Alliance. There are dangers lurking in the universe. Races need to survive, so we need the elites of our races to fight. Fight for the Hong Alliance, fight for humanity. This is the mission of every human elite. It is also your mission. The light slowly dissipated, but the voice continued to reverberate in Luo Feng's consciousness. The entire living room was silent for a long time. Fight for the Hong Alliance, fight for humanity, Luo Feng muttered. Everyone. Luo Feng awoke, looking at the other 9 envoys. I wonder who that human silhouette from before was. Even though the primal Chaos City teacher had been hiding his aura before him, he would occasionally reveal a sliver of his aura. Compared to the human silhouette from before, that human silhouette's aura wasn't any weaker than the primal Chaos City teacher's. This is the mystery of the Hong Alliance. Lightning Pursuer King, who looked like a bug race warrior, laughed. Everyone who officially joins the Great Alliance will see this scene, causing countless members of the Great Alliance to wonder who this human silhouette is. Some say it's the avatar of one of the leaders of the Great Alliance Palace, while others say it's some AI system in the virtual universe. The virtual universe system can simulate any kind of pressure, so naturally it's possible. Luo Feng asked curiously, one of the leaders of the Hong Alliance Palace? Your teacher, the respected primal Chaos City leader, is one of the leaders of the Hong Alliance Palace. They are both beings beyond 7 stars. Lightning Chasing Emperor said. An existence that transcends 7 star? Luo Feng lowered his head to look at the star mark on his arm. I'm considered a 1 star. Right. Lightning Chasing Emperor nodded. Anyone that just joins the Hong Alliance is a 1 star. 1 star, that's the lowest position in the Hong Alliance. Everyone starts off as a 1 star. Luo Feng, you don't have to think too much about it. Just joining and I'm already a 1 star, naturally I won't be discouraged. Luo Feng said curiously, this 1 star, 7 stars, leader, can you tell me in detail? Beside, Desire Emperor tried to stop him. Luo Feng, you are already a member of the Hong Alliance, you can check up on the detailed information of the Hong Alliance now. King Desire said, everything can be checked. If I wanted to explain in detail, I don't know how long it would take. After all, there are too many things that need to be described in the Hong Meng City. We can't finish explaining everything in a short amount of time. Before you enter the Hong Meng City, you should first look through the information. That way, you won't be clueless when you enter the Hong Meng City. Luo Feng nodded and smiled. I've already joined the Hong Alliance, the official business is done. Let's all join in the banquet. Haha, Your Majesty, Luo Feng's banquet. How can we reject it? This is a rare opportunity. The envoy team's 9 emperors all had the intention of befriending Luo Feng. After a lively banquet, they left happily. Within the study, Luo Feng sat in front of his desk and swiftly began to look through the detailed information of the Hong Alliance. There's really a lot. Luo Feng looked at the screen and couldn't help but praise. Before he joined, he couldn't get the detailed information, but now it was truly satisfying. Pictures, videos, written information, it was all there. From the pictures and videos, the headquarters of the Hong Alliance was a specially open space in the virtual universe. There were countless stars in the space, and in the center of the stars, there was a huge floating ancient city. This floating ancient city was the home of countless strong warriors, Hong Alliance City. Hong Alliance City was a gathering place for humans and large amounts of other races. The strong were as common as the clouds. It was very peaceful here. It was after all the virtual universe, naturally it was peaceful. The hierarchy here was very strict. It was based on one's strength and contribution to determine one's position. The higher one's position was, the more power he would have. The official members of the Hong Alliance were all based on their battle record. The stronger their battle records, the higher their strength. The ranks here were 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, all the way up to 7 star. It was a very simple division. All the strong warriors would have star marks on their arm guards or sleeves. This allowed them to easily determine the strength of the other members. All new members of the Hong Alliance were all 1 star. After which, based on their battle records in reality, the virtual universe system's Hong Alliance city system would automatically determine their battle records and strength. From there, they would be divided into ranks. 1 star. All new members of the Hong Alliance were at this level. Normally, they were Emperor level and Undying level. 2 star. They were considered the strongest amongst the Emperor level. 3 star. The limit of the Emperor level. 4 star. The initial level of the Universe Knight. Like true Yen Emperor, he was also at this level. 7 stars. The initial level of the Universe Lord. The leader of Tianshi Palace was also at this level. What a huge city! Hong Alliance City. It's split into Outer City, Inner City and Hong Alliance Palace. Luo Feng looked at the footage and exclaimed, "The number of human warriors is shocking. There are about 100,000 Emperor-level Undyings. However, the large number of foreign races add up to over 3 million. On the footage, an ancient city floating in space surrounded by large amounts of stars. The outer city was filled with a dense amount of warriors. Over 3 million Undyings from different races were gathered here. Their strength was split into 1 star to 3 stars. They all lived in the outer city. And in the inner city there was almost no one in the footage. Their strength was split into 4 stars to 6 stars. They lived in the inner city. Almost everyone in the inner city was a Universe Knight. In the center of the entire Hong Alliance city, it was a 1,000,000 km tall, resplendent and mysterious palace. It was almost like a huge blade that pierced through space. This was Hong Alliance Palace. Within Hong Alliance Palace resided 7-star beings. 7-star beings. They were at least overlords like Tianshi Palace leader or Shilua Duo. The palace masters of the Hong Alliance Palace were existences that had surpassed 7 stars. All of them were absolute overlords that could shake the trillions of races in the universe. Who? This is their hidden true strength. Luo Feng exclaimed within. Just like the primal Chaos City leader, he had the ability to reverse time and revive other warriors. Over countless years, the number of warriors had been accumulating. Luo Feng had long guessed that there would be many Emperor-level Undyings. However, there were actually about 100,000 of them. The race alliance is the way to go. The pinnacle races are strong. The other races are weak. However, the other races added together have many warriors. There's actually a total of over 3 million Emperor-level Undyings. Even so, the entire Hong Alliance is still dominated by humans. Looks like in terms of the pinnacle of power, the humans have the advantage. Luo Feng guessed it too. Just like Shilua Duo, he was the greatest being in the history of the Golden Horn race. And the Tianshi Palace leader, who was on the same level as Shilua Duo, wasn't even at the highest level. The highest level was the creator of the huge axe, the Void Gold Lord, the Dragon Travel Lord, the Primal Chaos City leader, etc. From this, one could see the difference in strength. The humans dominate and occupy large amounts of territory and resources. Even though there are many other races, they can only follow behind the humans. Luo Feng thought. No idea. Within Hong Alliance Palace, how many leaders are there? Luo Feng tried to search but couldn't find anything. Obviously, he didn't have enough authority. P.S. Chapter 1. Chapter 843. Luo Feng carefully read through the information regarding Hong Meng. The more he read, the more shocked he got. Hong Meng City gathered all the warriors of humanity and many other races, and who would own the treasures of each race. Of course, it would be the powerful Emperor Undyings, the Universe Knights, and even the Pinnacle Universe Lords. They owned the majority of the wealth of the many races in Hong Meng. Hence, the auctions that some of the so-called bank stars attended, compared to the transactions in Hong Meng City, were simply child's play. The normal transactions were 1 billion mixed element. Some of the larger transactions were even more ridiculous. Even the rare and special treasures were traded with other items. Auctions. Huge transactions. elite teams that explored the universe's secret regions, elite teams from the alien battlefields, shared interests, shared goals, formed special organizations. Anyway, don't just look at the 3 million strong warriors in Hong Meng City, they controlled the wealth and survival of humanity and a large number of races. Humanity was the ruler of Hong Meng. Like the primal Chaos City leader, the Void Gold Lord and the other absolute overlords, they may have the same interest in the survival of their races, however to nurture their own forces and obtain treasures etc., there were also conflicts of interest. After all, even the primal Chaos City leader, Void Gold Lord, Dragon leader, they all had their own desires. Humans had internal conflicts, the large number of other races also wanted a bigger share and more resources. Anyway, Hong Meng City was truly a place where crooks and dragons mixed together, with powers everywhere. Just from the information I've gathered, I've discovered so many things. Indeed, the greater the benefits, the more intense the conflict. Looks like I'll have to spend some time researching after entering Hong Meng City. However, I'm currently training in the Nameless Manual's second level. My Earth body's training speed is fast. I'd better finish early and let my Earth body have the strength to stand on Yanji Continent. Yanji Continent, Luo Feng's hideout. Luo Feng wasn't in a rush to head to Hong Meng City. It was obviously a place with many hidden forces. He had to investigate carefully. The first level of the Nameless Manual, my Earth body spent 3 months to train, the Golden Horned Beast spent 29 years. The second level seems similar. Time passed, in the blink of an eye, Luo Feng had been training for close to 3 months. Inside the world, on a beach of the endless sea, a half-naked Luo Feng sat crossed-legged on the beach. His entire body glowed, the energy he emitted was no longer normal. Just like the Golden Horned Beast and the Destructive Beast, even though they were asleep, they still made other life forms feel pressured. This was the pressure brought about by the evolution of life forms. With the Golden Horned Beast's peak bloodline, when it was a sector lord at its peak, it was 10 times stronger than a human. After Luo Feng finished his second level, his Earth body was 6 times that of a normal human. It was definitely comparable to the royal bloodline of the demon race. Phew! Luo Feng gently opened his eyes. I succeeded. My physical fitness has reached 6 times, not 9 times as I had guessed. Luo Feng shook his head and laughed. I'm too greedy, the genetic evolution itself is heaven-defying, it's equivalent to my Earth's bloodline being comparable to the demon royal bloodline. If I successfully cultivate the third tribulation, I'm afraid I'll surpass the peak bloodline of the astral beast. This nameless secret manual had a total of 9 tribulations. The first tribulation, 3 times. The second tribulation, 6 times. The third tribulation. All the way until the 9th tribulation. Just relying on this technique to allow a normal human body to evolve to a level that far surpassed the Golden Horned Beast and the Destructive Beast bloodline. His foundation was already so far ahead, breaking through the universe origin law's shackles. What kind of heaven-defying technique was this? The higher Luo Feng's position was, the more he realized how precious this technique was. It's time to try absorbing the Blood River crystals. The last time I absorbed 8 crystals. Now that I've already completed the second level of the Nameless Manual, my genes have risen by a huge amount. I'm only 1 level away from the Golden Horned Beast. I'm already comparable to the Demon Royal bloodline. Luo Feng thought. Who knows, I might even become the Black Warrior that hasn't been born in countless years on Blood River continent. Hua hua, the ocean water crashed against the beach, submerging Luo Feng's calves. Begin. Luo Feng flipped his hand and a beautiful Blood River crystal appeared. His fingers pierced through his palm and grabbed the crystal. The intense pain from absorbing the 9th crystal was something Luo Feng could easily endure. He just stood there on the beach. After a while, everything returned to normal. Very good. Success. The 9th is a success. Now it all depends on the 10th. Luo Feng, who was still calm before, couldn't help but hold his breath. He swiftly pierced through his palm and absorbed the new crystal. The killing aura was easily blocked and the blood river energy began to merge into his body. Unlike the golden-horned beast's huge body that only its right claw could absorb the blood river energy, Luo Feng's entire body was transforming. Chi, his entire body's muscles were trembling. Ka. Luo Feng's expression changed. He forced himself to look down at the crystal in his palm. It was already transparent. The blood river energy had already completely entered his body and was undergoing the final step of transformation. I must succeed. I must succeed. Luo Feng frowned and felt his entire body. His bones and tendons seemed to be pressured to their limits. Cracking sounds could be heard, almost as though they could break at any time. The blood river energy entered every cell of his muscles and tendons, causing the pressure to get stronger and stronger. As the last bit of blood river energy entered, the pressure finally ebbed and disappeared like a receding tide. Luo Feng's entire body was already covered in scales. The scales swiftly disappeared. Luo Feng stood quietly on the beach, thinking for a while. Ha ha! I've succeeded! I've become a black warrior, a true black warrior. Luo Feng couldn't help but excitedly wave his right fist fiercely, causing the space around to tremble. A strong shockwave rippled in all directions, causing the calm waves ahead to suddenly form a 100 m tall huge wave, rolling straight into the distance. 10 crystals! The 10th was a success. In Blood River World, the Black Warrior is already a legend, yet I've succeeded. Even though Luo Feng had long thought of this possibility, he still couldn't help but feel excited when he realized it. Actually, Luo Feng's success was very normal. In terms of genes, Luo Feng far surpassed the aboriginals of Blood River World. Even the wild beast Qinyo that was comparable to the Demon Emperor was only on par with Luo Feng. Qinyo had absorbed more crystals than Luo Feng. One reason was because his genes were high enough, 2 was because he was an aborigine of Blood River World. His race was influenced by the formless beast god energy. Naturally he could absorb more crystals. Even though I almost failed at the last moment, I still succeeded. I don't know if my guess is right. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Whether my earth body reaches the heavens in one step or slowly climbs, it all depends on this. Blood river energy. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with madness. Rumble, his entire body's skin glowed with a faint gold color. Even his eyes glowed with a faint gold color. His entire body was slightly slimmer, almost like steel, more refined. The current Luo Feng didn't seem human at all. He was more like an absolute ferocious beast emitting a domineering aura. It's actually my guess was right. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with excitement. Ha ha ha. I actually guessed correctly. Earth body has absorbed 10 crystals. With the blood river energy driving it, my genes have evolved and my body's strength has actually exploded, reaching 10 times its original strength. Luo Feng was extremely shocked. Yes, his body's strength had increased by a whole 10 times. Back when the golden-horned beast absorbed 10 crystals, its right claw's strength was equivalent to its entire body's strength, which was 2 times its original strength. One was 2 times, the other was 10 times. Luo Feng had his guesses long ago. The theory was simple. Because the golden-horned beast's body was too huge, the blood river energy could only cover its right claw. Just the right claw absorbing 10 crystals was already comparable to its entire body's strength before. Then, how much did the right claw's strength rise by? Before the evolution, the right claw was at most 1/10 of its entire body's strength. In an instant, it was comparable to its entire body's strength 10 times. The right claw itself was at least 10 times its original strength before the blood river energy was activated. The golden-horned beast had absorbed 100 crystals, causing its right claw to have 10 times its entire body's strength. Just one claw alone was equivalent to 10 times its entire body's strength. Then how much did the right claw evolve by? At least 100 times. The golden horned beast's body was huge. There were pros and cons. The cons were that absorbing the crystals was a huge disadvantage. The Earth body, however, had blood river energy covering its entire body. The evolution was a complete transformation of the entire body. Naturally, its body's strength would reach 10 times its original strength. Very good, what a surprise. Looks like my plan from back then will work. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation and excitement. He roared, "Beast God transformation!" Immediately countless scales appeared on Luo Feng's skin, making him look like a human-shaped beast god. Success! Beast God transformation is perfect, ha ha ha! My Earth body now has enough strength. Luo Feng thought about the future battles and couldn't help but laugh out loud. Luo Feng trained the Nameless Manual. His genes evolved and his body's strength was 6 times that of a normal Sector Lord Pinnacle. And with the Blood River Energy's activation, the Beast God blood essence caused his body's genes to rise and evolve immediately by 10 times. This caused Luo Feng to reach 60 times Sector Lord's strength. Beast God transformation first level, body strength amplification by 2 times. That would be 120 times Sector Lord's strength. And the general armor's minimum requirement was 100 times Sector Lord's strength. Haha, I'll have another Emperor-level battle strength. Luo Feng in his human-shaped beast god form flipped his hand and took out a crystal silver pearl. The General Armor Pearl. General Armor Pearl, absorb it. So, the armor pearl directly charged into Luo Feng's body and transformed into countless threads that began to fuse with every cell in Luo Feng's muscles, organs, and other cells. Completely fusing with the armor pearl. The pressure of fusing with the armor pearl is huge, but the current Luo Feng can easily handle it. A barely discernible general character appeared on Luo Feng's chest and then disappeared. General Armor appear. A silver armor swiftly appeared on Luo Feng's body, giving him 10,000 times Sector Lord's strength. In an instant, Luo Feng's body's strength reached the Emperor level. Along with his blade techniques and pinnacle techniques, an Emperor-level battle strength was formed just like that. Haha, from today onwards, I'll have 2 Emperor-level battle strengths. My Earth body and the Golden Horned Beast, both with Emperor-level strength. I alone can't deal with the enemy, the 2 of us will attack together. Chapter 844. Relying on the 2nd level to complete, and absorbing 10 Blood River crystals to become the legendary Black Warrior, along with the armor, even though his Earth body was still weaker than the Golden Horned Beast, he was already at the level of an Emperor. 2 Emperors. Luo Feng was naturally very confident. It was very hard for an Emperor to kill an opponent. Even the Golden Horned Beast with the Wu Killer Wings had to rely on an Emperor-level explosion worth 800 million points to kill the opponent. And the Fire God Origin Crystal couldn't be used so casually, because the explosion would affect the user too. If it wasn't for the Golden Horned Beast's Wu Killer Wings and armor, it would have been blown to bits long ago. Hence, when an Emperor fought normally, they would at most suppress the opponent by a bit. Death was rare. And fighting with numbers was the norm. With 2 Emperors working together, they would be able to surround the opponent from both sides, making it impossible for the opponent to escape. My Earth body has completed. It's time to enter Hong Meng City and take a look. The Earth body spent close to 3 months to complete the 2nd level. As for the Golden Horned Beast, it would probably take around 30 years. Luo Feng didn't have the patience to wait for 30 years before returning to Hong Meng City. Standing in his villa in the primal region of Yuxiang Mountain, Luo Feng immediately activated his teleportation. As a member of Hong Meng, he now had one more target, Hong Meng City. Xiao. Luo Feng vanished in mid-air and was immediately teleported to another space. The highest level space in the virtual universe, the place where the strongest gathered the most, was Hong Meng space. In the vast and endless space, surrounded by stars, an ancient majestic city floated. This was Hong Meng City. 1. With Luo Feng's arrival, one of the countless stars surrounding Hong Meng City slightly lit up. This is Hong Meng City? Luo Feng appeared in the living room. It was less than 1,000 square meters. Looking around, he creased his eyebrows. This was obviously a very small living room. His stature was relatively small, but there were still those that were over 10 m tall. Those that were larger, the living room seemed much smaller. Luo Feng. Babata shouted from Luo Feng's shoulder. I've received the message. This is your living room. All the official members of Hong Meng City have the same living room. It's about 3,200 square meters. So small. Luo Feng shook his head. Yuxiang Mountain Primal Region Villa is a few thousand km too. With such a small space, it wouldn't even be enough to practice my attacks. Luo Feng, according to the information sent to my virtual assistant by the Hong Meng City Management System, Hong Meng City isn't a place for you to practice your attack. It's a place for all the powerful fighters to communicate and gather. All the powerful fighters have the same body fitness level, which is the weak body of a student. I felt it. Luo Feng nodded. Back then, when Luo Feng first entered the virtual universe, the Black Dragon Mountain Island was like that too. All the humans had the same body qualities. This was to prevent fighting and killing. It was impossible to judge a person's strength just by looking at their appearance. And Yuxiang Mountain was a place where geniuses gathered. In a place where geniuses were nurtured, fighting and training were the mainstream. Therefore, everyone had the same physical quality as in reality. In reality, he was a Domain Lord level 9, and in the virtual universe, he would also be a Domain Lord level 9. This way, it would be suitable for training and battles. However, Hong Meng City returned to its usual state. Everyone's body was as weak as ever. It's not just the emperors, even the Universe Knights have such a weak body in Hong Meng City. Babata said, hence, as long as the knight keeps his consciousness pressure, then even if it's a knight standing in front of you, you won't be able to recognize him. Because everyone's body and genetic energy strength are the same. The only difference is the consciousness, and as long as the consciousness pressure is kept, there's no way to tell who's stronger or weaker. Let's go take a look. Luo Feng walked out of his living quarters. This was a quiet and spacious small district. Every house, including the empty space, was about 3,200 square kilometers, and they were all 2 stories tall. Only the style of the houses were different. Hong Meng City's outer city is the most bustling. After all, the inner city is home to Universe Knights, and how many are there in total? At least it's very quiet. Hong Meng City's outer city, however, has over 3 million residents. They are split into small districts, and every district has a fixed maximum of 10,000 residents. Babata's consciousness said to Luo Feng. Walking on the streets of the district, Luo Feng actually felt a little like Earth's Mingyue district. However, looking at the different styles of houses, looking at the distant weird-looking warriors, even some of the rock life energy life forms, only then did he feel that this was where the large number of races in Hong Meng City gathered. Looking up at the sky, it was an endless starry sky densely packed with stars. According to the information I found, Luo Feng said softly, every star here represents a warrior in Hong Meng City. I wonder which one is mine. There are so many warriors ahead. Luo Feng looked ahead. In the empty space ahead, there were many tables and chairs. There were groups of 2 or 3 warriors from different races holding drinks as they chatted and laughed. With a glance, there were at least a few hundred of them, of which there were about 5 humans, the rest were from different races. Hey, newcomer? I've never seen you before. Did you just join Hong Meng? Come, let's have a drink. Immediately many warriors raised their cups and greeted him. Even though we're from different races, everyone is very friendly and warm. Luo Feng thought within, simultaneously ordering, Babata, don't reveal my identity. After all, the identity of the direct disciple of the primal Chaos City leader was too shocking. Luo Feng, being the direct disciple of the primal Chaos City leader, had long since spread within Hongmeng City. Also, a sector lord was rare in Hongmeng City. Luo Feng didn't want to become a guerrilla being watched. Understood, Babata said. Luo Feng smiled at the foreign warriors that expressed their friendliness, casually grabbing a glass of fruit wine from the bar and walking towards the 5 human warriors that were sitting together. Warriors of the same race would naturally attract each other and stick together. You don't mind if I sit here? Luo Feng was dressed in a tight-fitting black armor. His facial features were slightly altered. Also, the news of Luo Feng joining Hongmeng City was known by very few. Other than the 108 knights in management, only the envoys knew. The envoys had their own confidentiality rules. Haha, no need to be so polite. Sit. Sit. The other 5 human king-ranked experts smiled and said. Luo Feng looked at the star marks on their arm guards. 4 of them were 2-star and 1 3-star. You must have just arrived in Hongmeng City. Let me introduce myself. I'm Wood Jade Emperor. A dark-skinned man with a head of hair that looked like a tree crown said, these 4. Luo Feng, Wood Jade Emperor and the other 4 chatted happily. Occasionally, other foreign race warriors would come over to greet them. This allowed Luo Feng to get to know quite a few of them. He could feel that Hongmeng City's atmosphere was peaceful. One had to know that in Yanji continent, it was very difficult for the emperors to get along. And it was very rare to see so many emperors. How many emperors were there in Yanji continent? Aside from the fact that the enemy being hunted would teleport over, it would be an extravagant hope to see 2 conferred kings at the same time. However, in Hongmeng City, they were everywhere. Ice Mountain is here. What a piece of trash. The foreign warriors suddenly became rowdy, causing Luo Feng to be slightly shocked. Luo Feng followed the gazes of the other warriors, only to see a silhouette in the distance, dressed in white armor, with hundreds of snow braids and a mask that revealed only a single eye. This was a foreign warrior. The expert nicknamed Iceberg also took a glass of fruit wine from the open-air bar, walked to an empty table, and drank alone. Ice Mountain, you're still not scramming? You can even sit here. You really don't care about your face at all. Humph, if we were outside I would have killed you long ago. The other races all mocked him. However, Ice Mountain leisurely finished his wine and stood up. He stretched his body and glanced at the group of foreign undyings. He snorted softly, what a bunch of idiots. After which, he walked along the road and headed out of the small district. Watching Ice Mountain leave, Luo Feng asked curiously, what's up with this Ice Mountain? Angering the masses? It can't really be considered angering the masses. Wood Jade Emperor laughed softly. Where there are strong warriors, naturally there will be fights. Our small district currently has over 8,000 emperors from different races. As time passes, as they are destined to stay in the same small district forever, they naturally form their own powers and form their own group. The larger ones have up to 1,000 emperors, the smaller ones have up to a few hundred. Luo Feng nodded. After being assigned to a small district, it was fixed. Many of them had been here for trillions of years. Naturally, their relationships were closer, forming powers that supported each other. That was normal. Internal transactions and other matters, that Ice Mountain didn't give face to the leaders of the large powers, hence they all resisted. Beside, a tall and huge armored dual-horned beastman said solemnly, luckily it's in the virtual universe. If it was in reality, that Ice Mountain would definitely be done for. Wood Jade Emperor said, that Ice Mountain's actions can't be considered a mistake. Luo Feng was stunned. If it couldn't be considered a mistake, why would he end up like this? He can only blame the fact that he's from a weak race. Wood Jade Emperor shook his head. the influence of a race's power is still huge. That ice mountain is from the Nobu's race, a weak race. It's said that the entire race only has one universe night. In the entire Great Alliance, the Nobu's race has no influence at all. You see, such a weak race, if he were to keep a low profile, it would be fine. However, to be so high profile, haha, everyone in Great Alliance City is an emperor. Even if he's the son of the Nobu's race's universe knight, no one would care about him. However, like I said, what he did can't be considered a mistake. He didn't do anything wrong, the mistake was his identity. Would Jade Emperor laughed. If it were a human warrior, even if he did that, who would dare mess with him? Just like when you came earlier, you didn't see the other races being so welcoming. Because, in Great Alliance City, we humans are the strongest. Would Jade Emperor said softly. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 845. Would Jade Emperor was a very talkative and loved to make friends. When Luo Feng expressed that he was prepared to explore Hongmeng City, Would Jade Emperor said confidently, I can't be more familiar with the various places in Hongmeng City. I'll accompany you and give you a tour of Hongmeng City and give you an introduction. Then I'll have to trouble you. Luo Feng smiled. No trouble, undyings have limitless lifespans, they can't just train all the time. As for adventuring and fighting, it's only once in a while. With such a long lifespan, there has to be some things, right? To be able to accompany a good friend to explore Hongmeng City, it's a joyous thing. Would Jade Emperor smiled, revealing his snow-white teeth. Under Would Jade Emperor's lead, Luo Feng began to stroll around Hongmeng City. Hongmeng City, the lowest level of residents were at least emperor level, countless warriors gathered in this city. Naturally, it was very developed. Normally rare sights could be seen everywhere here. Large ship trades, plant life, metal life trades, warrior employment services, special items appraisal services, large auction houses, new gambling services. Gambling? Luo Feng saw a strange 7-story palace in front of him. On the palace there were 3 human words, Puya Palace. As a warrior, most of them are adventurous, and with their long lifespans, there aren't many things to do. Gambling in Puya Palace. It's also a form of entertainment. Come, I'll let you experience it. Would Jade Emperor pulled Luo Feng and entered the palace. The moment they entered, they saw large amounts of warriors. This huge palace that was a few km long and wide was bustling with activity. Open! 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 The group of king-ranked formidable martial artists from the various races all stared ahead. At the same time, they laughed and shouted, clearly very excited. Number 1031. The attendant shouted the number. Immediately, many warriors within the palace cursed and scolded, however there were some who shouted, Number 1031 is Nongtsang Emperor. Nongtsang Emperor has earned big this time. Nongtsang Emperor, you've earned 100 million mixed elements worth of treasures, you have to treat us to a feast. Don't be stingy. Is Nongtsang Emperor such a stingy human? There was a commotion, after which a tall man with long curly hair shouted, Go go go, whoever has a ticket, go to the 9 Incense Palace. Heroic spirit! How forthright! Cheers immediately rang out. Luo Feng, who had just entered, looked over curiously. Would Jade Emperor, what's going on? This is called the 1 in 10,000 type of gambling, said King Would Jade with a smile. Furthermore, Puya Palace doesn't earn much from this type of gambling. Luo Feng was shocked. This kind of gambling game is very simple. It's just that the casino will take out a treasure worth 100 million mixed element unit. This is definitely not a random prize. These treasures that are taken out are usually sold for at least 100 million mixed element units in some shops outside. King Would Jade explained. The casino, Puya Palace, took out this treasure and started selling 10,000 tickets. Each ticket is worth 10,000 mixed element. When all 10,000 ticket numbers are sold, at a specific time, we'll begin to choose the one and only ticket number. The person with that ticket number will be able to obtain the treasure worth 100 million mixed elements, King Woodjade said. So that's how it is. Luo Feng understood. How interesting. This was equivalent to 10,000 warriors pooling their money to buy one treasure, and then the lucky one out of these 10,000 warriors would obtain the treasure alone. Investing 10,000 would result in 100 million. Of course, there would be more losers. Anyway, each ticket is only 10,000 mixed element. Gambling once in a while, it's still fun. King Woodjade walked in at the same time, introducing Luo Feng to the various types of gambling. These types of gambling were very similar to some of the most popular gambling methods on Earth. There were also some unique ones. The small gambles ranged from a few hundred mixed elements to the high ones in the billions. However, these types of gambling of the highest scale were only done once in a while. Even the Emperor Pinnacle warriors wouldn't dare gamble that much. Who? Walking out of Puya Palace, Luo Feng exclaimed, "How good is the Puya Palace at earning money? With so many warriors coming over to gamble, the casino just takes a small cut and earns a shocking amount." The Puya Palace is the only casino in the entire Hongmeng city. Even though they have to pay taxes to the Hongmeng, the profits are still shocking. It's a business without any capital. Woodjade Emperor exclaimed, "It's impossible to apply to the Hongmeng to build a casino. There's only one slot, and this Puya Palace, rumor has it that this Puya Palace's backer is one of the leaders of the Hongmeng Palace. Some even say that it's a collaboration between a few leaders." Luo Feng nodded. "It's not just the Puya Palace." Woodjade Emperor walked on the streets, pointing at the distant huge shops. The various businesses all have a limit to the number of shops. These shops have to at least be backed by a universe knight to build them. Hence, to earn huge profits from the Hongmeng, not everyone has the chance. Of course, there's a win and a loss. Other than the Puya Palace and a few other places that are unique, even though there are limits to the number of shops, they aren't the only ones. There's still competition. Haha, even though we emperors can't open shops, we don't have to pay to stay in the Hongmeng. As long as we don't gamble or shop, naturally we don't have to pay. However, as long as the shop is open, we have to pay taxes to the Hongmeng. Woodjade Emperor pointed ahead. "Look, that's the best shop out of all the shops. It's called U Treasure Hall. It's said that it's opened by a human leader of the Hongmeng Palace." U Treasure Hall had a total of 2 levels. Every level's space was comparable to the Puya Palace. One had to know that the Hongmeng was very frugal with their land. Even the Emperor and Undying's residences were only that big. Hence, a few km long and wide shops were huge. How much could they store? Who? He. Luo Feng entered Yu Bao Hall and looked at the countless treasures that filled his vision. Beside every treasure was a diagram. On the diagram were videos, pictures, and written information. They explained in detail the origins of the treasures, their specialties, and their prices. The treasures on the first floor of U Treasure Hall range from 1 million mixed elements to 100 billion mixed element. They have everything. Woodjade Emperor pointed in the distance. "Look at the staircase leading to the second floor." Luo Feng turned to look. U Treasure Hall is the best shop in the Hongmeng. The first floor has countless treasures. The second floor has even more valuable treasures. Some of them can be bought with mixed element. Some of them are even prohibited from being bought with money. One has to use other treasures to exchange for them, bartering. Woodjade Emperor explained. "You should know that there are some special treasures in the universe that are extremely rare. Some are even unique. To give an accurate price is very difficult. Unique treasures may be useless to some warriors. However, to others they are priceless treasures. Since the value cannot be determined, bartering has become the norm." Luo Feng nodded. He walked and observed. After a while, he reached the staircase. This isn't a place you can go up. At the 100 m wide staircase, there were 9 beauties from different races standing. one of them said coldly to Luo Feng. Luo Feng was stunned. The second floor of Yu Treasure Hall isn't a place anyone can enter. An ear-piercing voice carried from behind. A man with purple jade-like scales on his head, dressed in a strange golden robe, and his entire body seemed to be carved out of purple jade, walked past Luo Feng. He walked up the stairs and glanced at Luo Feng. Young. Would Jade Emperor walked over. Looking at the golden-robed warrior, he said, to go up to the second floor, one has to be a 4-star being or even higher. Or one has to have over 100 billion mixed elements in the Universe First Bank or Universe Galaxy Bank. Only those who fit the criteria can go up. Who's that strong-looking punk? Luo Feng smiled. He's called Wu Lu Wang. Would Jade Emperor said softly. Even though he's a foreign race, his teacher is a 7-star being. His teacher dotes on him and treats him like his own son. The disciple of a foreign race 7-star being. Luo Feng smiled. That Wu Lu Wang is an extremely vicious person. Moreover, he's very open with the strong warriors of the human race. He does have a group of strong friends. Yang, we're not in the same circle as him, don't mess with him. Would Jade Emperor said. Different circles had different levels. Those with huge backgrounds or strong powers would naturally be friends. Luo Feng nodded. There are countless treasures on this floor, trillions of them. It's enough for you to look at them for a long time. Would Jade Emperor smiled. That's true. Luo Feng nodded. Towards that Wu Lu Wang, Luo Feng only smiled disdainfully within. Looks like the foreign races indeed had low self-esteem amongst the humans. Otherwise, the truly confident ones may not care about the other party, but they wouldn't say it out loud to purposely attack the other party to show their own status. This was a sign of low self-esteem. Yu Treasure Hall was indeed the largest and best shop in Great Alliance City. There were many treasures and they were rare. Some weren't even in the Virtual Universe Company treasure trove. Of course, there were some that the treasure troves didn't have in Yu Treasure Hall. However, buying from the treasure trove, how could it compare to the feeling of shopping within the palace? It really makes one envious. Hee. The golden-horned beasts, deities of the world treasures, I've found quite a few too. The more Luo Feng looked, the more he liked it. He originally didn't have any plans to buy anything. However, looking at the trillions of treasures, he couldn't help but want to buy. However, the prices that really made him want to buy were usually a few 100 million, a few billion, or even tens of billions of mixed elements. However, he had no money on him. Even though he had some spoils of war from killing the Sher clan youth, he hadn't exchanged them for money yet. Luo Feng's gaze was suddenly attracted by a peculiar golden armor that was about 8 m tall. Even though this was created from the virtual universe, the moment he saw this peculiar golden armor, Luo Feng immediately thought of soldier armor and general armor. This is... Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Chapter 846. Luo Feng carefully observed the golden armor before him, especially the energy emitted from it. It was closer to a soldier's armor or general's armor's feeling, only. This golden armor was created by the virtual universe after scanning the armor in reality. Luo Feng was in the virtual universe too, naturally he couldn't sense it. If it was in reality, he could easily feel the calling. However, it wasn't possible in the virtual universe. The feeling it gives me is very similar to a soldier armor or general armor. Luo Feng looked at the map beside. On it were detailed pictures, introductions and prices. Luo Feng couldn't help but reveal a look of glee. Flame God Race. The map had a detailed introduction. This gold armor was obtained from a large race war in the ancient times in the outer region battlefield. The original owner was an emperor-level warrior of the Flame God race. He was extremely strong, and the number of emperor-level warriors that fell under his hands numbered in the tens, after which, he was killed by a universe knight in a large-scale battle. After being killed by a supreme expert of the universe, the Flame God race's king was directly turned into ashes, dying. However, the golden armor on his body was completely undamaged. It was shocking. They all thought that it was a powerful and mysterious treasure. This armor was treated as a spoil of war. After studying it carefully, one realized the armor couldn't change its size, couldn't be absorbed into the body. However, its material was something that even a universe knight would have to seriously attack before it would crack. As an experiment, there were 3 tiny cracks on it. Even though it couldn't change its size, an undying could transform his body into undying energy and enter the armor, forming an undying body that matched the armor. After experimenting, one realized that even if he couldn't absorb it, as long as he wore it, any soul attack that passed through the armor would be weakened by over 90%. When a material attack landed on the armor, the impact would be weakened by over 90%. To be able to weaken even physical and soul attacks, this golden armor was a priceless treasure. However, it had a fatal weakness. This armor was already fixed and couldn't be changed. This caused a series of problems. 1. A fully solidified armor, the wrist and shoulder area would be stiff. If one was a fighter, it would be very hard to wield a blade while wearing the armor, because the armor was completely solidified. Moreover, if a god who was originally only 2 meters tall wanted to condense an immortal divine body that was more than 8 meters tall, it would have a huge impact on their strength. A human undying was 2 m tall, they definitely wouldn't purposely condense to 10 m, or even 1000 m or 10k. Even though they could condense, it would affect their strength greatly. Therefore, the original body shape was the strongest state. 3. Although this set of golden armor had a helmet, the face was exposed. Therefore, as long as a soul attack, material attack, attacked the face, it would not be obstructed by the golden armor, and the power of the soul attack, material attack, would not be weakened. 3 fatal weaknesses. Coupled with an extremely high asking price, 5 billion mixed element. Instantly, this golden armor, which was originally extremely valuable, became unpopular. 5 billion mixed elements? Luo Feng looked and nodded. Not bad, the price isn't too outrageous. Young. Would Jade Emperor walked over. Seeing Luo Feng focused on the golden armor and the information on the blueprint, he couldn't help but laugh loudly. This armor is indeed mysterious, able to block soul and material attacks. However, its weakness is obvious too, especially the exposed face, making its original strength almost useless. Especially the price of 5 billion mixed elements. Haha, this armor is only useful to the emperors. However, which emperor would be willing to spend 5 billion to buy an armor that requires one to condense an immortal divine body to adapt to? Luo Feng looked at Wood Jade Emperor. No one has bought it before. Even though it had many flaws. But the advantages were shocking. There should be absolute warriors who would buy it. Of course people have bought it before. Wood Jade King sneered. Back then, the Black Phoenix King bought this golden armor. In order to adapt to the golden armor, she transformed her body and condensed a divine body to wear the golden armor. She even specially made a mask to match the golden armor. However, in the end, encountering a foreign race warrior in the universe secret region, due to changing the size of the immortal divine body, the Black Phoenix Emperor's strength was weakened. Furthermore, that foreign race expert was much stronger than him. After a few exchanges, he discovered that her mask was a weakness. After all, the Black Phoenix King's specially forged mask isn't as magical as the golden armor. The mask can only weaken soul attacks by 15%. The enemy's soul attack penetrated through her face. After a huge battle, the Black Phoenix Emperor fell. Sigh, what a pity. Wood Jade Emperor shook his head. One must know that the most terrifying among the emperors are those that specialize in soul attacks. And soul attacks are naturally formless and fast, able to penetrate any part of the body. As long as the body has a weakness, no matter how good the defense is, it's useless against soul attack. The armor is useless against soul attacks, and it even causes the user to change their undying divine body to adapt to it, causing their strength to weaken. It's really a waste to throw away. If it's cheap, 500 million, 600 million mixed elements, I'll buy it. But 5 billion mixed elements, it's enough to make any emperor's heart ache, not willing to use it to buy such an item. Would Jade Emperor said, over the countless years, after a few unlucky bastards fell, no one would be stupid enough to buy it anymore. However, it's also strange, this armor has been lost a few times, changing hands a few times. It's even been in the enemy camp before landing in our Great Alliance's hands. However, our Great Alliance has always set the price at 5 billion mixed elements. In theory, if it hasn't been sold for a long time, it means the price isn't right and we should lower it. However, it's always been 5 billion mixed elements. Oh, when this armor first appeared, it was priced at 50 billion. After the first user fell, it was lowered to 5 billion. Over the countless years, it's been maintained at 5 billion. Almost changed hands? Luo Feng asked curiously. Yu Bao Hall only has this armor? A total of 3. Would Jade Emperor said, however this one with the cracks was sold to the Black Phoenix Emperor back then. I even know that Black Phoenix Emperor. How? Luo Feng nodded, carefully looking at the armor. It could simultaneously weaken material attacks and soul attacks? Unable to change size, completely solidify? Unable to assimilate into the body? Flame God race? That's it. Luo Feng confirmed with these 4 points. This is an armor that's even higher than the soldier armor and general armor. Flame God race? That soldier imprint, general imprint, they're both flame God race words. Unable to merge into the body? The Masha clansman that hasn't trained the nameless manual, similarly can't merge into the soldier armor or general armor. Unable to change size? As long as it's merged into the body, it can change as it pleases. Weakening material attacks and soul attacks? This makes me even more certain. This is similar to the soldier armor and general armor. Luo Feng couldn't help but feel excited within. Hong Meng City was indeed a place where countless treasures were gathered by humans and large numbers of races. He just casually strolled around and found this mysterious armor. It was just that even though there were many treasures in Hong Meng City, they were all clearly priced. Luckily, the warriors of the various races in Hong Meng City couldn't truly use it, hence the price wasn't high. I have to buy it, Luo Feng thought. Luo Feng was very clear on his trump cards. Although the Wu slaying wings were very powerful treasures, to him, the nameless secret tome and the general armor were more important. This was because these two could increase his own combat ability. The general armor increased his sector lord's strength by 10,000 times, allowing him to make up for the difference between him and an undying. And its defense against attacks also increased his survivability. General armor. This was the main reason why the golden horned beast and his earth body had emperor-level battle strength. After all, just based on origin law comprehension, Luo Feng's beast god state could only reach the 18th level. It was far from Kudi's 20th level back then. However, relying on the mysterious general armor, he still had extremely powerful battle strength. Along with the Wu killer wings and his own creation, he could easily kill an official level pinnacle. He even relied on the fire god origin crystal to kill an emperor level beginner. If it wasn't for the nameless manual and general armor, I'm only an official level warrior. I have to thank the powerful beings that created the nameless manual, Luo Feng guessed within. The humans of Earth were nurtured by the powerful beings of the other races. The Flame God clan too was nurtured by that powerful being. The nameless manual was a technique that went against the laws of the universe. It was probably created by that powerful being too. Even though I've never met him, I've benefited a lot from him, Luo Feng thought. Would Jade Emperor? Luo Feng said. Yang? Would Jade Emperor looked curiously at Luo Feng. There's something I need your help with. Luo Feng smiled and brought Wood Jade Emperor out of the shop. To buy the golden armor, he needed at least 5 billion mixed elements. Luckily it was only 5 billion, it wasn't enough to force him to sell the inheritance crystals. However, the large amount of items left behind by the Naishi clan youth, Luo Feng had to get serious and try to sell them for a high price. Those spoils of war. Luo Feng would have to spend about 8 billion points even with his extremely low discount. Of course, those Emperor-level warriors wouldn't be able to enjoy such a low discount. Luo Feng was the direct disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, hence he had such a discount. The Virtual Universe Company didn't earn much from Luo Feng. After spending a day and a half, Luo Feng finally sold all his spoils of war. He first asked the Virtual Universe Company for a price. They were willing to buy it for 7 billion mixed element. After which he asked the shops in Great Ming City. They too were willing to buy it for a price of 7.8 billion mixed element. Selling it at retail was still worth it. That Wood Jade Emperor passionately brought Luo Feng to his own residential area to ask about the price, after which he contacted his friends. Finally he sold it for 8.6 billion mixed element. If I exchange for treasures from the Virtual Universe Company and sell them in Great Ming City, wouldn't I make a profit? It's a pity, the Virtual Universe Company doesn't just forbid me, even the Primal Region core members from selling their items. Luo Feng sighed within. The Virtual Universe Company only wanted to nurture them, they didn't want to earn much. Hence the price was low. A day and a half later, Luo Feng came to the Yubao Hall alone. He specifically looked for a time when there were no other customers in the hall. Treasures were expensive, and an emperor might only be able to purchase one after countless years. There were only slightly more than 3 million emperor powerhouses in the entire Hongmeng city. Only a handful of emperor powerhouses would enter the Yubao Hall to take a look. Come over. Luo Feng summoned the waiter. This guest, what would you like to buy? The waiter walked over. This golden armor is rather unique, I'll buy it. Luo Feng said directly. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 847. Golden armor? The attendant's eyes widened in disbelief. No one knew how long this set of golden armor had been on display, but it had never been sold. Some people in the Yubao Hall had long suggested that the higher-ups remove this set of golden armor or lower the price, but their suggestions had never succeeded. This set of golden armor had always been there, and its price had been set at 5 billion mixed elements for a long time. Customer, please wait a moment. At the same time, he called for the person in charge of the first floor of the Yubao Hall. She was a human woman with curly golden hair and a graceful figure. On her sleeves were 3 star marks. 3-star expert. The golden-haired lady smiled at Luo Feng. Let's talk inside. Luo Feng nodded, entering a room at the back of the shop. There was only Luo Feng and the golden-haired lady. The two of them sat facing each other. Let me introduce myself. I am King Tsangxin, the Deputy Hall Master of the Treasure Hall, the golden-haired woman said. Luo Feng only nodded and didn't say anything. It's rare to meet someone who wants to buy this set of golden armor. The golden-haired woman smiled and said, Let me give you a piece of advice. None of the people who have bought this golden armor in history have gotten much benefit. 5 billion mixed elements is not a small number, Luo Feng nodded. He could be considered very rich, but if he had to spend 5 billion mixed elements to buy something of low value, he would be reluctant. However, this was a piece of armor from the Silver Armor series. Even a Universe Paragon powerhouse would have to be serious in order to damage it. It was clearly an armor of a higher grade than the Silver Armor. He had to buy it even if he had to go bankrupt. I'll buy it, Luo Feng said. This is the purchase agreement. The blonde-haired lady said, with the virtual universe system supervising, both parties will sign. After signing, you can transfer the money directly to my Yubao Hall. If my Yubao Hall doesn't deliver the treasure to you, we will return the money and compensate you tenfold. Luo Feng and the golden-haired lady signed the agreement. Luo Feng immediately transferred the 5 billion mixed elements to the Yu Bao Hall account. I don't want your Yu Bao Hall to leak the news of me buying the golden armor. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Don't worry. The golden-haired woman said confidently, our Yu Bao Hall has confidentiality rules. Of course, if you leak it yourself, you cannot blame our Yu Bao Hall. Luo Feng immediately got up and left. The golden-haired lady watched as Luo Feng left, after which she herself vanished from the room. Virtual universe, within a space belonging to the universe night. The golden-haired woman appeared on an endless land of ice and snow. There was a simple divine hall in the center of the land of ice and snow. There was no one in the divine hall, but an old man sat on the ground outside the divine hall. Hall Master. The golden-haired woman stood in front of the old man and greeted respectfully. What business does the Yu Bao Hall have? The old man looked at the golden-haired woman. This old man was the Hall Master of the Yu Bao Hall, a universe supremacy-level existence. Generally, only truly huge transactions would require his presence. The golden armor has been bought, the golden-haired woman said. That useless set of broken golden armor? The old man was puzzled. Yes, the golden-haired woman replied respectfully. Who bought it? The old man asked. He didn't reveal his identity, only leaving behind an illusory universe number to contact us to receive the goods. The blonde-haired lady said, using the illusory universe number to ascertain his identity is very difficult. I can't do it either. Of course it's very difficult. The old man waved his hand. You may leave. Yes. The golden-haired woman vanished into thin air. The old man was the only one left on the land of ice and snow. He frowned slightly. A mere 5 billion mixed elements gold armor with such poor effects. Why does Master place so much importance on it? Master's orders. This armor has been maintained at 5 billion mixed elements. If anyone were to buy it, they had to inform Master immediately. Could it be that this armor really has some secrets? His master, he was one of the true overlords that stood at the pinnacle of the human race, and was also the true master of the Yu Bao Hall. Virtual universe, the highest point of Thunder Island, a silhouette suddenly appeared outside the palace that was hidden within the primal chaos energy. He had a tall and sturdy body, a long dragon tail, and a pair of eyes that seemed to contain the entire universe. Just by standing at the entrance of the palace, the formless tyrannical aura caused the entire virtual space to tremble and warp. Primal Chaos City Master. He stood outside the palace and said directly, his voice transmitted into the palace and reverberated within. Long Xing, you're already outside, why don't you come in? A calm voice resounded from deep within the palace. 2. One was so tyrannical that it caused the entire space to tremble. The other was as calm as the ocean and the stars. Without your permission, how would I dare barge in? Long Xing's voice was powerful as he laughed mockingly and entered the palace. The primal chaos energy within the palace automatically parted, revealing a pathway that allowed Long Xing to see the primal chaos city master sitting on the throne in the distance. This Long Xing was also very straightforward. He directly walked to the first throne beside the primal chaos city master and sat down. I'm here for the Flame God Race Gold Armor. Flame God Race Gold Armor? The primal chaos city master's eyes lit up. Long Xing, you found the method to create the gold armor? Nope. Long Xing shook his head. That foreign race expert is indeed powerful, to be able to mass-produce these mysterious armors. Our human race has researched for so many years and still haven't been able to create them. Then why did you come? The primal chaos city master was curious. Someone bought a set of the Flame God Race gold armor. Long Xing said. The primal chaos city master looked at Long Xing. It was one thing to buy it, but what was the point of telling him? He knew too. Long Xing purposely set the price of 5 billion mixed elements, to force the Undyings who didn't have confidence to give up on buying it. Those who dared to buy it should have some confidence in using it. Undyings might have some miraculous encounters, figuring out how to use and create the armor. However, to specifically tell him, could it be, the one who bought the armor is your disciple Luo Feng? Long Xing said. Ah. Even though the primal Chaos City Master had his guesses, the moment it was confirmed, many thoughts flashed through his mind, and he quickly confirmed some information. Your disciple is an Earth person, and the Earth people were born from the foreign race expert's guidance. Long Xing said. The Flame God race was also born from the foreign race expert's guidance. I'm afraid your disciple Luo Feng has the method to use the gold armor. So what if he has the method? How many sets are there in the race? The primal Chaos City Master shook his head. Finding the method to mass-produce the armor, and even researching the secret method to create the Emperor armor is the most important. Otherwise, just a few sets are useless to us humans. Primal Chaos City Master, Long Xing, these absolute overlords of the universe, their standards were extremely high. The manufacturing method of the golden armor and the strongest Emperor armor of the Flame God race was what they were after. Obviously, for the Flame God race to be able to use it in large quantities, they obviously had the method to mass produce it. It was a pity that even after killing many Flame God race people, even searching their souls, using all sorts of methods, they still couldn't discover this secret. Haha. I won't bother with your disciple's matter, you as his teacher will handle it personally. Long Xing said forcefully. If he discovers an important secret, it will affect humanity's overall strength. That would be a huge merit. The primal Chaos City Master nodded. Leave it to me. Your main body has returned? Long Xing suddenly asked, his expression serious. Not yet. The primal Chaos City Master shook his head. Be careful. Long Xing said solemnly. Don't fall. If I fall, I'll just rely on the clone to form my main body. It'll take more energy and time. The primal Chaos City Master said. How much energy and treasures do you need to form your main body again? And how long will it take? So much energy and treasures, it's a huge blow to humanity. And losing your main body's strength for such a long period of time will have a huge impact too. You are an important strength of humanity. Long Xing smiled. Don't be too crazy, know when to stop. The primal Chaos City Master nodded. I'm leaving. Long Xing stood up and vanished. In the throne within the palace, the primal Chaos City Master sat there. Long Xing had already left for a long time. Even though Luo Feng created an absolute art, his origin law comprehension is very ordinary. The primal Chaos City Master frowned. Even though he killed Wu Yue, his battle strength is still weak. However, the battle strength he displayed is shocking. Even without killing Wu Yue, he has an Emperor-level battle strength. I always thought he had some special encounter and obtained some treasure, but now it seems it should be the Flame God race's armor and general armor. Sigh. The primal Chaos City Master sighed within. He was very disappointed, because the armor, general armor and even higher level ones, these were all mass-produced by the Flame God race. Maybe their effects were miraculous and were extremely powerful at the undying level. However, as one's strength rose, the armor's effects would get weaker and weaker. These armors could only be produced in large quantities to be useful to the race. To an individual, it was just temporarily strong. I originally thought he had some special encounter. I thought it was some mysterious treasure from the universe, or from before the Great Apocalypse. The primal Chaos City Master shook his head. A true treasure would only get stronger as one's strength rose. Just like the Wu Yue in the hands of an Undying, its power was only average. However, in the hands of a Universe Knight, it was incomparably terrifying. Even with the Universe Lord, it was still useful. That was a true treasure. This is just a deduction. Let's see if this disciple of mine can truly use the golden armor. The primal Chaos City Master said softly. Maybe he can't use it, and has other powerful methods to have such power. If he can use it, it means that this disciple of mine has a special way to use the armor. The way the Flame God race used the armor, humanity already knew. However, if they couldn't copy it, other than the Flame God race, the other races couldn't use it. Just like the war in the outer region back then, countless undyings were turned to dust. Those wearing the armor and general armor were directly smashed into pieces and mixed with the countless remains. The humans who categorized the remains didn't notice anything special about the broken armor, they just treated it as broken pieces. And the golden armor, as it was a complete set, naturally was valued and treated as a treasure. Chapter 848. Luo Feng bought the golden armor from Yu Bao Hall in Great Meng City. The delivery time was 3 days later at Army Camp 026. Of course, rushing from Yanji Continent back to Camp 026 would normally take a few months or even a year or two. However, Luo Feng was anxious to get the golden armor, plus he had sold many of his spoils of war to the emperors in Great Meng City. The delivery point was also at Army Camp 026. Naturally, he had to make good use of the time. Using the God Country teleportation of the star-eating grass, Luo Feng directly returned to human territory from Yanji Continent. The teleportation point this time was a space rather close to Wu Niao Planet. Using the Dark Universe flight, he reached Wu Niao Planet in 2 days, and then through the space tunnel to the 7th battlefield, Army Camp 026. Within Army Camp 026, the internal teleportation tunnel. The new soldiers are here. Everyone, lead the new soldiers. Why are there so few new soldiers this time? The white-haired, white-robed undying in charge of leading the new soldiers and his subordinates were shocked at the new soldiers that were being teleported over. Because there were simply too few new soldiers this time. According to the rules, normally 100 sector lords would be gathered for a single teleportation. Usually, the domain lords and universe levels that accompanied them added up to at least a few thousand, if not 10,000. However, this time, there were only a little over 1,000 people, and only 10 sector lords. A formless pressure emanated. The white-robed undying's expression changed. His gaze immediately landed on the silver-armored, silver-winged youth. That terrifying pressure emanated from this youth. It was so strong that the undying's face went pale. So there's an emperor-level undying here, no wonder we only teleported so few people this time. Wu Niao Planet dared to let the sector lords, domain lords and universe levels wait, but they couldn't let an emperor-level undying wait there. Lord! The white-robed undying welcomed him. I know the way, Luo Feng said, following which he followed the familiar pathway within the army camp. This scene caused the white-robed immortal and his subordinates to smile along with him. Meanwhile, the group of over 1,000 new recruits all blinked their eyes. This powerful existence was at least a marquis undying, right? He actually gave me the same residence as last time on this island. Within the barracks, Luo Feng was once again given the villa on the island in the middle of the lake. Looks like no one has taken my place during this time. There was a convention in the allocation of accommodation. A titled emperor with extremely high military merits would be given a place to stay the first time. Then, the next time, as long as the place wasn't occupied by other undyings, they would be given the same place again. Ha Yang! A voice could be heard. Standing beside the island, Luo Feng raised his head and looked into the distance. About a few hundred km away on the peak of the mountain range, there was a luxurious residence, and a silhouette was looking over. Zima. Luo Feng communicated and laughed. It hasn't been long since you went back to the barracks, and you're back again? Haha, unfortunately, Ku Tua is currently in the Star Tower. A few hundred km away, the Emperor-level warrior said. After which, he took a step forward and crossed the sky, arriving outside Luo Feng Island. This was a warrior with 3 heads, 1 big and 2 small. You're not even inviting me in? How would I dare? Please come in. Luo Feng smiled. The island was private property. Without the owner's permission, naturally one couldn't enter. Within the barracks, no one dared to break the rules. It hasn't even been a year since you came and went, Zima said. I came back for business too, hence I came back so quickly, Luo Feng said. The last time he went shopping in the barracks, he immediately returned to Yanji continent and fought the black armored youth head-on. After killing him and acquiring the second black metal board, he trained for 3 months before returning. It indeed hadn't even been a year. Returning to the barracks, Luo Feng met with his old emperor friends. Many of them said, Yang, you were black-armored and black-winged before. How come you're silver-winged now? Luo Feng replied immediately, You can change the color of the armor. Before it was black, now it's silver. Who knows, it might even be gold. These words made many of the other emperors laugh. Returning to the barracks. On the first day, Luo Feng swiftly handed large amounts of his spoils of war to the Virtual Universe Company's transport department and began to send them to the emperors he traded with. On the second day, the golden armor arrived. Sir, these are the goods you bought. The Virtual Universe Company's personnel specially sent the goods outside the island. Identity confirmation complete. Thanks. Luo Feng received the storage ring. The personnel bowed respectfully and left. Luo Feng's thread of world energy permeated into the storage ring. He easily discovered that within the storage ring there was only one item, that golden armor. Actually, the moment the delivery person passed through the teleportation tunnel and arrived at number 026 base, Luo Feng, whose every cell in his body was boiling, knew. The treasure had arrived. He didn't even need to check to know it was right. Luo Feng was extremely excited at that time. Even though he had guessed it earlier and had high confidence, without relying on his body's senses, he didn't have 100% confidence. The feeling of boiling. The feeling of my entire body trembling. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with suppressed excitement. 5 billion mixed elements, don't even mention this golden armor, even that silver armor. Just the soul attacks and material attacks alone have over 90% resistance. That's enough to make even an Emperor Undying go bankrupt and fight for 50 billion mixed elements. Not to mention this set of golden armor. I've struck gold. Let's take a look. The ones before were called soldier armor, general armor. I wonder what this one is called. The excited Luo Feng swiftly returned to his living quarters and let the golden horned beast within his internal world begin to study the golden armor. Internal world. On the vast grassland, the grass had withered. A mountain range like golden horned beast was lying on the vast grassland. Suddenly, it stood up fiercely. As it had been training the nameless manual's second level, its body often crumbled and turned to dust. Hence the armor pearl had long been forced out of its body by the golden horned beast. So, the 8 m tall golden armor appeared in the air above the grassland. How? The golden horned beast looked up at the tiny golden armor. Xiao. The golden armor that was originally falling seemed to have received an incredibly strong summon. It immediately became a golden beam of light and rushed into the golden horned beast's body. After it entered, it became countless golden threads that seeped into every part of the golden horned beast's body. It also began to form a strange mark on its chest. The black scales on the golden horned beast's chest faintly revealed a flame god race word, king, before disappearing. King. Floating in mid-air, the black-clothed Luo Feng stared at the scales on the golden horned beast's chest. He couldn't help but be overjoyed. It's indeed as I guessed. It's even more powerful than the soldier armor and general armor. This should be considered the emperor armor. Soldier armor, general armor, emperor armor. I wonder if there's anything even more powerful than that. Whatever, this armor has already given the golden horned beast a huge amount of pressure. Let's see if it can activate the entire armor. Emperor armor, condense. Black-clothed Luo Feng stared at the golden horned beast ahead. How? The golden horned beast also raised its head and let out a roar. After which, a layer of gold began to condense on the surface of its body. The originally black scales quickly became gold in the blink of an eye. The entire body of the golden horned beast became a dazzling gold. An incomparably strong pressure began to spread. Not enough. The pressure is too huge. The three bodies thought at the same time. Black-cloved Luo Feng's expression changed. The golden horned beast howled softly. Its blood river energy completely exploded. Its body strength immediately increased by 12 times. Still not enough. The golden horned beast's body began to swiftly shrink, unleashing deities of the world. Beast God transformation. Natural abilities. One by one, they were unleashed. The golden horned beast's body continued to grow. The golden armor that originally gave it a huge amount of pressure was now reduced by over 99%. However, it still felt uncomfortable and restricted. Obviously, it hadn't activated the armor to its limit yet. The golden horned beast's body isn't enough to fully activate the armor? In the following days, Luo Feng forced out the pearl and allowed the golden horned beast to continue training the Nameless Manual's second level. At the same time, Luo Feng left the army camp and sat in a ship that took a few months to return to Yanji continent. He began a period of training. While studying his origin laws, while studying bright moon strategy, while training the second level, occasionally hunting in Yanji continent, Luo Feng was living a carefree life. His earth body's silver armor and silver wings image also let the warriors of Yanji continent know that there was a new blade-wielding human warrior called Yang. He had the strength of an emperor-level warrior. His movements were swift and his blade techniques were ferocious. He had the strength of an emperor-level warrior and was not to be trifled with. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 30 years had passed. Haha, I've finally completed the second level. Now that it's fully unleashed, the golden horned beast can unleash over 10,000 times Sector Lord strength. I don't believe I can't activate the armor. Within the internal world, the black-clothed Luo Feng floated in mid-air and stared ahead. And the golden horned beast was once again merging with the Emperor Armor Pearl. Hua! The completely black golden horned beast immediately shrunk. Its body resembling that of a beast god in an instant, it transformed into its strongest form, a completely golden beast. I've already successfully activated it to its limit. Indeed, only when one's body strength reaches 10,000 times Sector Lord's strength can this armor be activated to its limit. The golden horned beast let out roars after roars filled with joy that reverberated throughout the plains. This armor directly gave the golden horned beast 100,000 times the strength of a Sector Lord. The human emperor undying body, even at its peak, only had 100,000 times Sector Lord's strength. From this, one could see how amazing the armor was. Haha, Yanji continent. I have nothing to fear anymore. With such a powerful body, physical attacks below 100,000 times Sector Lord's strength would be completely blocked by the armor. Soul attacks below the pinnacle of Emperor level would also be completely blocked by the armor. Even attacks exceeding 100,000 times Sector Lord's strength would be weakened by over 90%. In terms of weakening, the armor was much stronger than the general armor. Chapter 849. Luo Feng's 189th year in Yanji continent. At the edge of the Yanji continent, on a towering mountain range that was millions of kilometers high, a silver-armored, silver-winged young man lay leisurely on a boulder. A blood shadow saber was placed beside him as he muttered, "Does the Nightlife King have something good for me? I hope he's not wasting my time." So, a silhouette appeared beside him. "He's here." The silver-armored, silver-winged youth stood up. "Yang, you sure are relaxed." Night Chin Emperor mocked. This Night Chin Emperor was dressed in dark red armor. He had a pair of wings and a pair of golden eyes. "I'm just enjoying a bit of leisure time." Luo Feng's eyes were like lightning, filled with a tyrannical energy. As a black warrior, He had a rather thick beast god bloodline. Plus, he was constantly in beast god transformation, and his Wu Yu gave off a certain amount of pressure. How could he not be tyrannical? Speak, why are you looking for me? You didn't even say it in the virtual universe and came all the way here. Luo Feng looked at Night Chen Emperor. Big news, really big news. Night Chen Emperor emphasized. What big news? Luo Feng asked with interest. After a long time, Luo Feng indeed had a large group of emperor friends, of which there were a few from Yanji continent. They mainly used their earth body form and used the name Yang to befriend them. Of course, the golden horned beast made a few friends too, like Star Illusion Emperor. However, the few he befriended were from the more desolate races. He only befriended a total of 3. The Earthling's main body had many friends, and the one he had the closest relationship with was the Night Star King, Night Chen Emperor, a branch of the Winged Man race, an Emperor Pinnacle warrior who could teleport. He was violent and bloodthirsty, and didn't easily acknowledge others. However, the moment he acknowledged someone as a friend, he was naturally very generous. After Luo Feng sparred with him, his strength gained Night Chen Emperor's recognition. Only then did the two truly become friends. Using Night Chen Emperor's words, "Your instantaneous speed is too fast. Even though I can teleport, the moment I do, you've already dodged fighting with you. Unless it's a warrior who specializes in soul attacks, it'll be very hard to hurt you. Let's talk in your cave." Night Chen Emperor seemed very careful. So careful? Luo Feng smiled. He too sensed that something big was about to happen. He brought Night Chen King and flew into his cave. Inside the cave, the two of them sat down. Yang, you should know some legends about the Yenkai continent, right? Night Star King transmitted his voice. Our conversation has to be transmitted. This is to prevent powerful existences with detectors that are more advanced than ours from detecting our conversation. Haha. Of course, it's rare to find a detector that's more advanced than yours on the Yenji continent. Anyway, we have to be careful. The legend of the Yenji continent. Luo Feng was stunned. You mean the altar? The Nightlife King nodded solemnly. There were many mysterious places on the battlefield of the 7th Star region. Many high-end battlefields such as the Yazi continent and the Star Tower had some legends. For example, many sacrificial carvings could be seen on the Yazi continent. Even after hundreds of millions of years, they had not completely decayed. The energy used in them was indeed amazing. Many experts who fought in the foreign battlefields were thinking about the Yazi continent's native. I've heard of some. Luo Feng frowned. Back when the 7th battlefield was opened, it was said that the warriors of the 4 great races swept through many regions to open the battlefield. The natives of the Yazi continent naturally fled in panic. They didn't dare resist the 4 great races because they didn't have enough time. It seems that only a portion of them managed to escape. Even more were slaughtered. The Yazi continent is most famous for its altar towers. Every altar tower is a large survival base. Many of the treasures of the Yazi continent's natives are placed in these towers. Then, they bring the towers with them as they flee. However, even after fleeing in panic, there are still some altars that didn't make it in time. Some were taken by the 4 great races back then, while others are hidden in certain regions of the Yazi continent. It's said that the altars are so mysterious that even the god energy of the universe's knights can't find them. Their detectors can't find them either. Luo Feng said. In history, there have been over 10 altars discovered on the Yazi continent. Did you find me because you found the altars? Luo Feng smiled at him. The Nightlife King's expression was serious as he nodded. Damn. Luo Feng suddenly stood up and stared at the Nightlife King. You're not lying to me? How can such a good thing fall from the sky onto me? I'm not lying, the Nightlife King said seriously. What's going on? Luo Feng looked at the Nightlife King and frowned as he smiled. You and I are indeed good friends, but these altars, are the survival bases of the Yazzie continent's natives when they flee. They contain large amounts of treasures that belong to the entire race. Even though each altar only contains a small portion, it's already very exaggerated for us emperors. There's no reason to give away such boundless treasures. Every place had a story. Just like the calamitous Star Belt, the Yazzie continent, and the Star Tower. They all had stories. The sacrificial flame continent's altar tower was very famous, and the 7th Battlefield's peak battle zone, the Star Tower, had treasures that would make even king-ranked formidable martial artists go crazy. Of course, it only appeared once in many, many years. However, the probability of finding one was much higher than discovering the altar tower. You're right. Friends don't have to give away treasures like this. The Nightlife King laughed. I invited you because I think highly of your flying, dodging, and escaping abilities. If space is sealed at a critical moment, you can rely on your flying abilities to escape. I've sparred with you so many times. Your flying abilities are truly amazing. Ha! Luo Feng laughed. I'll tell you in detail, the Nightlife King said seriously. I'm fighting an alien Regis Godfiend. He's hiding deep underground. Although he's slightly weaker than me, he's still a high-level Regis Godfiend. It was a battle. I used all my skills. The ground collapsed and the space shattered. My enemy was already seriously injured. He fought with me while running, and accidentally found the altar in the ground. The altar tower is mysterious and unfathomable. Even universe sovereigns can't destroy it or search it. It's the survival base of the Yazzie continent's natives. My opponent and I naturally couldn't forcefully store it in our world rings. However, on the corpses of the Yazzie continent's natives at the entrance of the altar tower, my opponent and I both discovered the talismans to enter the altar tower. We immediately fought over them. The main reason was that he arrived at the altar first and had a slight advantage. Even though I was stronger, I only obtained half of the talismans. There were 6 talismans in total. I got 3 and he got 3. According to the items we found on the corpses, one of them was ordered by the Yazzie continent's natives to enter the altar tower with the talismans. Only when 6 people with the talismans enter from 6 different directions can they open the clan's treasure. Nightlife King shook his head helplessly. My opponent and I both carried the talismans, so we were able to enter the altar tower safely. However, we could only move about in the living quarters of the altar tower. As for the place where the treasure was hidden, it was heavily guarded. 6 beings had to enter from 6 different directions. Only then could we open the door to the treasure. Nightlife King, it's very likely that these 6 beings were natives. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. The design of the altar will definitely allow 100% of the aboriginals to get the treasures. It won't let us other races get the treasures. Even with the 6 talismans, we might not be able to get them. Of course I understand what you mean, Nightlife King said. But haven't there been other warriors who obtained the altar tower in history? Anyway, the treasure trove of the Yazzie continent's natives, even though it's just one altar tower, should be comparable to a universe knight's wealth. And after countless years, some of the internal defenses have probably deteriorated. Nightlife King said. Taking such a small risk to obtain such a treasure, I'll definitely give it my all. Yang, are you going? Riches come from danger. Luo Feng smiled. Let's go. Luo Feng believed he had many ways to protect himself, and since there were warriors who obtained the altar tower's treasure, why couldn't he? Let's go, follow me to invite Tiger Thorn King. Nightlife King said. Tiger Thorn King? Luo Feng frowned. Let's go. Shua. Nightlife King brought Luo Feng and teleported. In another distant region of the Yazzie continent, Tiger Thorn King and his team were camped in a cave within a mountain. Living in caves and underground caves were the 2 most common type. Within one of the halls, Luo Feng, Nightlife King and Tiger Thorn King were all there. Even though Tiger Thorn King wasn't human, he belonged to the human camp and had a good relationship with Luo Feng and Nightlife King. Yang, Nightlife King, you two have come to my place? Tiger Thorn King communicated. You even have to communicate and forbid my underlings from coming over. Looks like it's a big deal. It's a big deal. The Night Star King began to recount the entire story again, using the sacrificial pagoda to tempt the Tiger Thorn King. Let's go. Tiger Thorn King slapped the table. With such an opportunity, how can we not fight for it? Even if we go to some extremely dangerous universe secret regions and risk our lives time and time again, we probably won't be able to obtain such a treasure. All right. Nightlife King seemed very excited. I'm good at teleportation, Tiger Thorn King you're good at space sealing and offense, Yang is good at flying. The three of us working together, with all three of us having plant life support, we'll definitely be able to obtain the treasure. We'll split the treasure according to 2. 1. How about that? Nightlife King looked at the two. The three of us will work together to snatch the treasure. I'll take 2, you two each take 1. Tiger Thorn King and Luo Feng exchanged glances, after which they nodded and looked at Nightlife King. All right. Awesome. Nightlife King laughed too. He was clear that the two he invited had extraordinary backgrounds. Tiger Thorn King's strength was similar to his. As for Yang's flying ability, it was indeed top-notch. Tiger Thorn King and Yang both had their own trump cards, especially Yang. Every time he saw Yang's wings flap and fly, he felt a sense of awe. If this flying technique was created by Yang, it meant that Yang's talent was heaven-defying, and he was definitely nurtured by his race. If it was taught by teacher Yang, it meant that his background was terrifying. 3 chapters completed. Tomorrow, Tomato will be attending the Qidian annual meeting. From the 25th to the 28th, Tomato's schedule won't be fixed, and he won't be able to update regularly. Usually, he'll update later, please understand. Chapter 850. This is the communication talisman. Night Chen Emperor flipped his hand and took out 2 triangular translucent stones covered in complex engravings. It was similar to the jadeite material of Earth. Once the spirit imprint is infused, it'll be considered the owner. Night Chen Emperor said, only with the talisman can you enter the altar, otherwise you can't. These engravings contain the space and water laws. Wow, what mysterious origin law engravings. Tiger Thorn received the talisman and examined it carefully. He couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Luo Feng too received a thread of spirit energy and entered the talisman. Immediately, the spirit imprint entered and the talisman entered Luo Feng's skin. The spirit imprint was also the soul imprint and life imprint. Tiger Thorn received the talisman too. All right, let's depart. Night Chen Emperor ordered. Xiao. The 3 experts from the human camp instantly disappeared from the cave, reappearing in the depths of the underground 1 trillion kilometers away. Deep underground, Luo Feng felt the space warp. Before, he was still in the cave. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in the dark underground. This is... Luo Feng looked at the huge object standing in the mud and rock. As it was covered by the mud and rocks, he could only see a few hundred meters ahead. This was a huge structure with a circular door. The door was completely shut. Even after 1 trillion years, the altar was completely undamaged. Babata, scan the altar. Luo Feng said. I can't scan the altar. I can only discover that within a 20 kilometers area, there's only mud and rock. Even the mini-scanning device can't detect it? Luo Feng was shocked. He had long heard that scanning devices couldn't detect the altar. Even a Universe Knight's God energy couldn't detect it. However, only after trying it out did he realize how powerful the altar was. It's clearly right in front of me, yet my God energy scan can't detect it. Tiger Thorn's voice was powerful as he roared. Scanning with my God energy scan, I can only feel that there's countless rocks and mud ahead. However, I can clearly see it with my naked eye. This is the mystery of the altar. Knight Chin Emperor smiled. Without reaching the altar, even a universe knight can't find it. This altar is the survival base of the Aboriginals when they flee. It's the main tool they use when fleeing. It's just that mysterious. A corpse! Luo Feng looked ahead and saw a corpse lying on the rock. It was about 2.6 m tall, its entire body like jade, with 6 arms and a bald head. Its entire body emitted a pressure that was the pressure of an undying. To be able to go through trillions of years without rotting, this was naturally an undying. The suppressive force is quite strong. This undying corpse's god power is obviously very condensed. It should be king-ranked. The Tiger Thorn King walked over and stood at the side to observe. He's a king-ranked martial artist. The Night Star King also looked at the corpse and smiled. When I was fleeing, this altar was managed by 6 king-ranked formidable martial artists. Each of them had a message talisman. Looks like he didn't suffer any pain when he died. Luo Feng observed carefully. The corpse had an anxious expression on its face, and its eyes were still wide open. However, it had died just like that, and it seemed to have died very suddenly. He died very quickly. Emperors are very hard to kill. However, when he died, his armor wasn't damaged at all. Obviously, there wasn't any intense battle. The Night Star King said. I guess, when the 4 pinnacle races opened the battlefield, the large group of knights unleashed their soul attacks and swept through the entire Yen-Ji continent. All life on the continent was wiped out. The 6 emperors died instantly too. Luo Feng nodded. Night Star King, Tiger Thorn King and Luo Feng were outside the passage. Wait patiently for the enemy to arrive. The Night Star King said. I think he'll be here soon. Luo Feng and Tiger Thorn King sat cross-legged in front of the passage and waited silently. Within moments, 3 silhouettes appeared before them. Night Star King, you sure are fast. A sharp and ear-piercing voice rang out, and a 3-meter-tall figure covered in black and gold scales appeared. His head was vertical, and his eyes were very small, like those of a poisonous snake. His silver-white lips were opened, and he let out an ear-piercing strange laughter. These are the 2 helpers you invited? This seemingly barbaric fellow should be Tiger Thorn King. Oh, silver armor and silver wings, never seen them before. He squinted at Luo Feng. Let me introduce them first. The Night Star King's gaze swept past the 3 warriors of the enemy camp and said solemnly, I, Night Star King. I, Tiger Thorn King. The barbaric and crazed Tiger Thorn King roared. I don't have the title of Emperor yet. My nickname is Yang. Luo Feng's gaze swept past the 3 warriors of the enemy camp. Those 3 warriors, Luo Feng could tell at a glance that 2 of them were from the Chi-Ho tribe, and the other one was the famous King Tsongjin of the Sacrifice Yen continent. King Tsongjin was famous, so Luo Feng knew a lot about him. As for the 2 from the Chi-Ho tribe, Luo Feng knew nothing about them. After all, his time on the Sacrifice Yen continent was too short. Of the 2 Chi-Ho race warriors, one was close to 3 m tall and the other was only 1.6 m. My side has already introduced themselves. Iceblade, what about you guys? The Night Star King shouted. My nickname is Iceblade. The 3 m tall Chi-Ho race warrior laughed weirdly. Purple Bell King. The 1.6 m tall Chi-Ho race warrior was similarly skinny and his voice was even more piercing. Ash Gold King. This was a huge man who was as tall as Tiger Thorn King. His face had Thunder Law engravings on it. As he stood there, lightning snakes could be seen around him. That tyrannical aura pressed down on the human side. However, the Tiger Thorn King also exploded with a heart-palpitating aura. Even space itself seemed to be cracking. 2 camps. One was the human camp and the other was the automaton camp. Of course, the automaton camp didn't have a single automaton. We can be considered to know each other. Ice Blade laughed ear-piercingly. Let's enter together. Let's go. Night Star King said too. Ash Gold Emperor and Purple Bell King followed Ice Blade. Luo Feng and Tiger Thorn King followed Night Star. They all walked directly towards the tunnel door. The tunnel door was already closed, but when the first body of the Ice Blade touched the tunnel door, the originally incomparably hard material flowed like liquid. The Ice Blade walked into the interior of the altar, just like that. Night Star King did the same. As for Luo Feng and the other 3 warriors, they were still extremely cautious as it was their first time entering the passage. How strange. The moment Luo Feng's body touched it, the passage door automatically flowed, allowing Luo Feng to pass through like water. In the huge circular passage that was about 1 kilometer wide stood Luo Feng and the other 6 Emperor-level warriors. Behind them was the passage. This treasure hunt won't be easy. Luo Feng's gaze swept past the 3 enemy warriors. That Ice Blade, high-level Emperor level, not much of a threat. However, Ash Gold Emperor is an extremely famous warrior in the entire Yen-Ji continent. He should have an Emperor-level pinnacle. Yang, Night Star King, this is going to be troublesome. Tiger Thorn Emperor communicated. I didn't expect them to have Ash Gold Emperor. Humph. Night Star King looked at Luo Feng and Tiger Thorn Emperor. That Ice Blade is weaker than me. He knows that if he doesn't invite someone stronger than him, he probably won't be able to snatch the treasure from me. According to my information and conjecture, that Purple Bell Emperor should have an Emperor-level pinnacle. An Ash Gold Emperor, you all know, he's an Emperor-level pinnacle. Emperor-level pinnacle. Luo Feng, Tiger Thorn Emperor and Night Star King all felt the pressure. Emperor-level warriors were divided according to their strength. They were usually split into beginner, upper and pinnacle emperors. Beginner king-level Undying God body usually had 10,000 times the power of a Sector Lord. Upper-level emperors had about 30,000 times Sector Lord strength. Pinnacle emperors had about 100,000 times Sector Lord strength. And 100,000 times Sector Lord strength was the highest level a human emperor undying could reach. Without some heaven-defying luck, there was no way to break through. However, amongst the emperor warriors there were a few who had body amplification technique. For example, the golden horned beast had the deity of the world, beast god transformation and the natural ability strengthening technique, which allowed its body to explode with 20 times its strength, like True Yen who had received a god general's inheritance. Of course, there were other absolute warriors who had received a god general's inheritance or had body amplifier technique. Body amplification was very difficult. Beast god transformation was such a technique, yet the first level could only amplify by 2 times. Deities of the world was powerful. However, it was a combination of the golden horned beast's natural talent swallowing to create a body amplifier technique. Just like Luo Feng's earth body, he only had one body amplifier technique, the beast god transformation. Hence, there were very few human body amplifier technique. Normally, being able to amplify by 3 to 5 times was already very rare. As for the god general's inheritance, there were too few of them. Even the Universe Knights fought for this slot. Large amounts of the races within the Great Alliance fought for it. To obtain a god general's inheritance, one had to spend tens of billions of mixed elements and owe a bunch of favors. This wasn't something normal emperors could do. Therefore, king-conferred experts were usually at the beginner stage, advanced stage, and peak stage king-conferred. Only a few with body amplification techniques or soul amplification techniques, or created their own pinnacle techniques, or had special encounters, could explode with the strength of an emperor. And above, with many fortuitous encounters and one's own abilities, one could create an emperor that was comparable to a normal universe knight. Like True Yen, an Ash Gold Emperor was at the pinnacle of the emperor level. The pinnacle is only 1 level stronger than us. Even though we are slightly weaker, the difference isn't huge. Night Chin Emperor said. Leave Ash Gold Emperor to me. Tiger Thorn's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Luo Feng glanced at Tiger Thorn. Tiger Thorn was famous for his ferocity. He could hold his own against Ash Gold Emperor. Actually, we have another advantage in this altar, and that's Yang. Night Chin Emperor surveyed his surroundings. The tall walls of the circular passageway had countless ancient carvings and origin law energies emanating from them. This altar is very mysterious. Its entire body is filled with mysterious energy. For example, the entire space within the altar is sealed. That's why I can't rely on teleportation to enter the core region. Teleportation, this ability was very strong. To be able to teleport from the outside into the ship, if the altar was a normal structure, Night Chin Emperor would have long teleported into the core region. Under the space seal, Yang's speed and dodging will be a huge advantage for us. Also, Tiger Thorn and I are both at the pinnacle of the Emperor level. Even though Ash Gold Emperor is at the pinnacle of the Emperor level, we are not much different from them. Night Chin Emperor said. While Luo Feng's side was conversing, Ice Blade, Purple Bell Emperor and Ash Gold Emperor were conversing too. After a few seconds, let's enter the core region. Ice Blade said. Let's go. Night Chin Emperor nodded. Chapter 851. Their words were beautiful, however Night Chin Emperor's side and Ice Blade's side were secretly on guard. Right now, both sides needed to work together to enter the core region, hence they could maintain peace on the surface. However, the moment they entered the core region, plus they were hostile races, and also competitors for the treasures, it would be weird if they didn't kill each other. Humph. Purple Bell Emperor looked at Luo Feng and the others, his gaze was like a blade. Luo Feng too looked coldly at him. Enmity, both sides didn't hide it, they weren't stupid, there was no need to hide it. Corpses. So many corpses. Luo Feng and the others walked along the circular pathway. The entire pathway was 1 kilometer wide and 3 kilometers tall, going around the entire interior and exterior of the altar. Even though the altar's height was only tens of thousands of km, the circular pathway's length was hundreds of thousands of kilometers. The circular pathway occasionally connected to large halls. Every hall had corpses and skeletons. They're all undying corpses. As for the skeletons, they should be Sector Lord level. As for Domain Lord, Universe level, they've long since rotted to the point of nothing. Luo Feng looked at the over 1,000 kilometers wide cabin with corpses. He couldn't help but exclaim within, these were all killed by the 4 pinnacle races. The large group of knights from the 4 pinnacle races may not have discovered the altar. However, the altar could at most hide. It couldn't defend against the soul attacks. The soul attacks swept through. They were all destroyed. Even an emperor level being killed instantly, much less the other undyings or even the weaker natives of the Yen-Ji continent. Yang. Tiger Thorn Emperor communicated. Luo Feng glanced at Tiger Thorn Emperor. Have you noticed that all the undying corpses we've seen, they don't have any space rings, world rings or weapons? Tiger Thorn Emperor communicated. Haha. Luo Feng naturally understood the reason. Night Chin Emperor and that Ice Blade, they've looted very cleanly. Tiger Thorn King said, the two of them entered long ago, other than the core region, they at least swept through the residential region. The treasures of the 6 titled emperors and large amounts of other undyings. Just how much did Night Chin King get? It really makes my heart itch. Night Chin Emperor, how's your loot? Tiger Thorn Emperor was direct, communicating and asking. I've only gotten 3 emperor corpses. The Yen-Ji race is far from the human pinnacle races. Those emperors are poor too. Their loot is average. Night Chin Emperor said directly. You've gotten it easy. Tiger Thorn Emperor communicated. The 2 teams quickly arrived at the entrance of the core area of the altar while conversing via voice transmission. This entrance. Luo Feng looked at the entrance in front of him. This was a gigantic hexagram. The 6 corners of the hexagram were passages. 6 passages with a diameter of around 10 m. Inside the passages was a blurry light. The layers were like thin films, faintly emitting powerful energies that made one's heart palpitate. According to the information we've obtained, the 6 experts will have to enter from 6 different tunnels. They will have to break through layers of obstacles before embedding their messengers into the concave. Only when all 6 messengers have been embedded can they open the tunnel and enter the core area. The treasure is in the core area, Night Shin King said. Yes. Bing Ji nodded. Every passage has layers of obstructions. Ordinary official rank Undying can charge in. It should be a method used by the natives of Flaming Ritual Continent to stop their own juniors from entering the core region. Layers of obstacles? The Mountain Tiger Race's Purple Bell King looked coldly at the Ice Blade beside him and snorted. Ice Blade, are you messing with me? The energy faintly emanating from this passageway is not weak. What if it contains a special attack that kills us? If you're afraid, then don't enter. Tiger Thorn snorted coldly. Coward. Luo Feng said intentionally. Ice Blade, the helper you hired is so cowardly. Night Shin King mocked. The human side laughed, causing Ash Gold Emperor, Ice Blade and Purple Bell Emperor to crease their eyebrows. Purple Bell Emperor glanced at the human side and snorted coldly, not saying a word. However, Purple Bell Emperor, Ice Blade and Ash Gold Emperor exchanged glances and communicated obviously they had been discussing. Luo Feng, Tiger Thorn Emperor and Night Shin Emperor's side were discussing too. I've already tested it many times. Relax, I'll lead the way in. Night Shin Emperor was extremely confident. I have the Wu Killer Wings, General Armor. It's not very realistic for this energy to kill me. What's more, this is just my Earth body. Even if something happens, it's still within control. Luo Feng was extremely confident. Night Shin Emperor, I trust you. Tiger Thorn Emperor trusted Night Shin Emperor too. After a while, both sides had discussed internally. Now that they were right in front of the treasure, how could they retreat? Enter. Enter. Both teams did the same. Night Shin Emperor, Tiger Thorn Emperor and Luo Feng each went through a pathway. Ice Blade, Ash Gold Emperor and Purple Bell Emperor too went through a pathway. 6 passageways. 6 powerhouses, this water screen? Luo Feng's wings spread and wrapped around himself, forcing his way in. Chi. The moment he passed through, even though there was some resistance, it couldn't stop Luo Feng's strength. Chi. 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 In one breath, he passed through the layers of water screens. Even though each was stronger than the last, Luo Feng's earth body's strength was over 10,000 times that of a sector lord. He easily reached the end of the pathway. At the end of the pathway there was a triangular hole in the wall. It matched perfectly with the message Luo Feng had before. The message appeared in Luo Feng's palm, and he gently embedded it. Ding! The message entered and the entire pathway's origin law engravings began to light up. Even the space began to tremble. Ding! The other pathways too began to tremble. In an instant, the 6 pathways began to tremble simultaneously. The engravings on the 6 pathways grew brighter and brighter. This scene made Luo Feng and the other warriors nervous. Such treasure hunting had its own risk. If they didn't take the risk, why would they barge in? And everyone was certain that the risk was low. That was why they dared to barge in. Even so, no one had complete confidence. Within the entire control room of the altar's 3D projection floated. Through it, one could see the various regions of the altar. When Luo Feng and the other 6 warriors entered the altar, alien invasion. Alien invasion. Sitting in the control room was a 6-armed mechanical puppet made entirely of alloy. It was a mechanical puppet made to imitate the appearance of the natives of the Yenji continent, and it contained an intelligent life. It had been monitoring the entire altar for countless years, and the long years had made it evolve into an intelligent life. After countless years, it finally discovered the alien invasion. So, It immediately stood up and stepped into a water screen. This water screen was the God Country's space pathway. Just like how the Black Dragon Mountain Empire built a fixed pathway to the God Country on their capital planet. A fixed pathway had to do with distance. The further the distance, the more shocking the cost of building and maintaining the pathway. However, the closer the distance, the less the cost of building and maintaining the pathway. Even that undying from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire could maintain it. Building a pathway in the control room of the altar was a simple matter. An AI robot appeared on the peak of a vast mountain, in front of a majestic temple. Looking down from the peak, it could see densely packed residential areas in the distance. Countless natives of the Flame Sacrifice realm lived on this vast divine nation continent. So, a golden-robed six-armed tall silhouette appeared in mid-air. It was a Flame Sacrifice clansman. "Master," the AI robot said respectfully. "Why aren't you at the altar? Why are you here?" The golden-robed warrior said seriously. "Master, an intruder has been discovered in the altar." The AI robot said. "Intruder?" The golden-robed warrior's eyes lit up. Like two beams of light, the space around them crackled. He laughed loudly. "Altar, my race's legacy altar. How long has it been? How long has it been? We've been hiding and reproducing, secretly living on some mineral planet. Once we're discovered, we immediately flee, struggling at death's door. Ha ha, finally, there's an intruder. Finally, there's an intruder." The golden-robed warrior laughed loudly. "Emperor Undyings are all here. Third brother, bring them all here." The golden-robed warrior's voice rang out in many areas of the God Country. In just a breath's time, 11 powerful silhouettes appeared beside the golden-robed warrior. These warriors all had 6 arms, skin like jade, bald heads. Clearly, they were natives of the Flame Sacrifice continent, and the energy they emitted was incredibly strong. They had already reached the Emperor Undying level. "God Master! God Master!" The 11 Undying looked at the golden-robed warrior in confusion. "What's the rush to summon us? The altar we sat on has finally welcomed an invader," the golden-robed warrior said. The 11 Undying were so excited their bodies trembled. More than half of them were crying tears of joy. "How many years has it been? How many years has it been? Back then, our clan faced a calamity, and the Venerable Ones were the main targets of the 4 peak clans. We split up into 10,000 teams and fled in different directions. Each team carried our clan's inheritance and treasures in an attempt to rise again. However, those abominable 4 peak-level races came too quickly. I'm afraid only a few of our 10,000 teams could escape. The 6 leaders of our team were still arranging for their clansmen to enter the sacrificial tower when the attack came. One of the Emperor's face was full of tears, his body trembling. Some of us Undyings were placed in the core region. Luckily, Third Brother was smart back then. To prevent any accidents, he left a token in the altar, and we all teleported to Third Brother's God Country. Who knew, when we returned to the altar? We found that the altar was already dead. The 6 leaders all died outside the altar because they were arranging for their people. Without the 6 message talismans, we can't even open the altar's treasure. Without the race's inheritance and treasures, while our God Country has countless people, we can't nurture strong warriors. No message talismans. The core region's passageway is closed. Even if we teleport into the core region, we can't leave. We don't dare to return to Yenji continent. We don't dare to return. We don't dare to gamble. Once we're found, the 4 peak races will kill us to the last. Our bloodline will be wiped out. It's been too long. This king-ranked expert's face was wrinkled. Tears streamed down his face, but his eyes were filled with madness. Finally, alien invaders have come. They will bring the transmission talisman. We will finally be able to obtain the transmission talisman and the treasures of our race. Finally, our chance is here. The golden-robed warrior said. The eyes of the other king-ranked experts were filled with a crazed look. 2 chapters completed. Red Tiger, who was in the same hotel room as him, was snoring like thunder. Tomato worked so hard to write, was it easy for him? Could everyone bear not to give him monthly votes? Chapter 852. In the distant ancient era, the aboriginals of the Sacrifice Yen continent faced a calamity. Back then, the aboriginals of the Sacrifice Yen continent were just a normal race in the universe. There were less than 10 knights in the race. Against the 4 pinnacle races that opened up the battlefield, they were like ants trembling in fear. Those few knights knew that they were the main targets, and the chances of them escaping were extremely low. Hence, they quickly distributed the accumulated treasures of the few universe paragons and their clansmen to their clansmen. At that time, they were actually split into 100 small teams, and Team 9900 was considered to be a fake team. The 10,000 altars were also of different levels. Teams like Team 9900 were cannon fodder that were used to fool the 4 peak clans into pursuing them. Using some special sacrificial runes, the altars also contained aura concealment abilities, and spatial sealing abilities. However, the materials used to build the pagodas were much weaker. Actually, there were many differences between the 100 teams and the 9900 team. For example, in a true legacy team, each team would have 6 king-ranked formidable martial artists leading them. And the normal 9900 team had 6 official undyings leading them. The treasures were different too. The 9900 normal teams had very few treasures. The inheritors had the true large amounts of treasures, the true inheritors of the race. And obviously, Luo Feng's team had detected that the 6 leaders of this pagoda were all emperor level. This was one of the 100 pagodas back then. At the peak of the mountain, the winds howled. This bloodline had survived till now. After countless years, the remaining 12 emperors looked at each other, their eyes filled with passion and madness. "Let's go to the pagoda," the gold-robed warrior said. The 11 emperors nodded. The 12 emperors swiftly followed the water screen and passed through it. Within the control room of the pagoda, the gold-robed warrior led the 12 emperors and gathered within the control room. The AI robot followed closely behind. "Master, look." The robot pointed at the 3D projection. "The pagoda is monitoring the entire area. They are currently following the circular pathway." The gold-robed warrior stared. The 6 silhouettes projected were extremely clear. Whether it was the golden-eyed winged man Knight Qin Emperor, the rugged Tiger Clan's Ice Blade, the tall and huge pale gold Emperor, the silver-armored and winged Luo Feng, they were all clearly displayed on the projection. "The humans still have some weak alien races," the golden-robed expert said in a low voice. "Create a virtual image of these 6 targets. Simulate their auras." A plump kinken-furred expert standing at the side gave the order. Immediately, 6 figures that were as tall as their real bodies and had simulated auras floated in the control room. The altar simulated at least 10% of the auras of Luo Feng and the other 5. The fattest of the survivors squinted his eyes and said softly, "These 6 should all be at the pinnacle of Emperor level. Maybe with special treasures they're even stronger." "What? Third brother? Clan elder?" The other experts all looked at him. This third brother was the one who brought a group of undyings to his god country. In addition, there were already some clansmen in the God Kingdom. That was the only way the original people of the Sacrifice Flame continent could survive. This third brother was also the strongest amongst them, but he rarely took care of anything. The person in charge of this branch was actually the golden-robed expert. "Third brother, are you sure?" The golden-robed expert looked at him. "That's right, Chiu Chica wouldn't be wrong." The plump Chiu Chica revealed a smile, and the 6 of them are split into 2 factions. Even though they're moving together, they're enemies. We still have a chance. Enemy factions. The golden-robed expert and the other Undyings looked carefully, swiftly discovering some clues and deducing. The 6 were indeed split into 2 factions. This is our chance, Chiyo Chika said solemnly. However, in this battle, the weaker ones are useless. Clan Elder. Third Brother. Immediately, some of the lower-level Emperor-level clansmen shouted out. Pu Ai is at the pinnacle, Latimer and Menbu are upper-level Emperor-level. The 3 of them and me, a total of 4 will stay here. As for Big Brother, the 8 of you will return to the God Country. Chiyo Chika immediately made his decision. You won't be of much use, and this battle will be very dangerous. We don't have many powerful techniques like these other races. We've lost our legacies, so we don't have many techniques. The 8 of you will still have to lead our race. For the race, return. Chiyo Chika gazed at them. The 8 lower-level Emperor-level were very unwilling. Yes. Yes, Clan Elder. For the race. All of them could only listen to Chiyo Chika's orders. Clan Elder, God Master, all of you have to return. You have to return alive. The 8 lower-level Emperor-level experts were very worried. Don't worry, we still have to return the true legacy techniques of the race. Chiyo Chika waved his hand. Go. The 8 lower-level Emperor-level experts followed the water screen and left. In the control room, only the 4 strongest experts and the AI mech were left. The natives of Yenji continent used to live in tribes. Usually, the chief of a tribe was the God Master, while the strongest was the Clan Elder. The Clan Elder was in charge of leading the tribe, while the God Master was in charge of managing the tribe. 4 strong experts. Clan Elder Chiyo Chika, God Lord Pu Ai, Latimer, and Menbu, 2 peak-stage Regis Godfiends and 2 high-level Regis Godfiends. The enemies will soon reach the core region entrance. Chiyo Chika pointed at the projection, and the treasures within the core region, as everyone knows, are split into 2 treasure rooms and 1 legacy room. The 2 treasure rooms contain all sorts of expensive materials, weapons, and mysterious treasures. The legacy room contains all sorts of mystic arts that our race has accumulated over countless years that are most suitable for our race's life structure. A vast number of mystic arts are in the legacy room. With these mystic arts, we can bestow different mystic arts to our descendants according to their different talents and nurture powerful experts. Chiyo Chika said in a low voice, Our 12 Regis all came from the Calamity era. None of them were born and nurtured after the disaster. The main reason is that we lack many mystic arts and cannot properly nurture our descendants. After all, the mystic arts that we know are only a 10,000th of the race's mystic arts. Our first target. Seize the legacy room and send the legacy room's mystic arts to the divine kingdom. Chiyo Chika pointed at the other 2 cabins on the holographic projection. These 2 are treasure rooms. One of them can be opened only by our clansmen. We've already obtained the treasures in that treasure room. The other treasure room can only be opened by our clansmen with the communication talisman. Of the 2 treasure rooms, one has few treasures, and the other has many. According to what I know, the second treasure room has tens of times more treasures than the first. Chiyo Chika said in a low voice, The second target is this unopened treasure room. Yes. The other 3 nodded. The difficulty of opening the 3 treasure rooms varied. The easiest to open was also the one with the least treasures. They had long obtained it. Only the last 2 treasure rooms were left. One was the treasure room and the other was the mystic arts. Although the treasures are precious, the mystic arts are more important to our race. Therefore, we must first do our best to seize the legacy room. Chiyo Chika shouted, Don't be confused by the treasures. Those treasures are useful to you, but they are of little use to nurture our descendants. Everything is for our race. Understood, Clan Elder. Menbu and Latimer nodded. Understood, Third Brother. The golden-robed expert Pu Ai nodded as well. All right. Chiyo Chika nodded. We still have a high chance of obtaining both the treasure room and the legacy room. After all, only our race can open them. Pu Ai, Membu, and Latimer all nodded. Of course, we can't fight them head-on. The moment we show ourselves, they will join forces against us. Chio Chika pointed at the first treasure room, which was also the treasure room they had opened before. This first treasure room is where I planned to make them kill each other. Clan Elder, but we've already emptied the first treasure room, Membu said doubtfully. If we emptied it, we can just put some treasures in there. Chio Chika sneered. The treasure chest we obtained from the treasure room is still in my hands. This treasure chest is just a chest. At most, the materials used are expensive. The 3 treasure chests from back then were left there, but there was nothing inside. They discovered the treasure chest, but they couldn't use godly power to check it, and the last words of our ancestors. Right. It would be strange if they didn't kill each other. They definitely thought we were all dead. There's no other life in the tower, they definitely wouldn't be wary. Chio Chika nodded. It's not that we're smart, it's just that they didn't expect there to be other Yenji race members alive. Remember, they don't know of our existence. This is our greatest advantage. We can't reveal ourselves until the very last moment. I'll go arrange for the first treasure room now. Chio Chika swiftly left the control room and began to arrange. After a while, he returned. Within the control room, the 4 warriors watched silently. 6 communication talismans. They indeed all have them. The passage to the core region has opened. We need to think of a way to get a talisman. Only then can we open the legacy room and the second treasure room. The 6 passages shook and started to revolve simultaneously. They revolved slowly and gradually connected with a clear passage before stopping. The passage ahead was completely clear. Core region. Luo Feng carefully folded his wings and entered the passage. After which, he leapt out and landed on the ground. It was a vast and spacious hall. Songjin Emperor, Purple Zhong Emperor and Night Qin Emperor were already standing there. Yang. Tiger Thorn Emperor landed too. Tiger Thorn and Luo Feng exchanged glances and walked to Night Qin Emperor's side. An Ice Blade, Songjin Emperor and Purple Zhong Emperor stood together. Be careful, we've already entered the core region. Before, we still had to rely on the 6 communication talismans to open the passage. There's no need now, or the battle could break out at any time. Night Qin Emperor communicated. Yang, especially you, your undying body is the weakest. That Songjin Emperor is extremely strong. He might make a move against you first. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. Xiao. In the distance, King Ageless Gold, Ice Blade, and Purple Bell King instantly turned into 3 streams of light and split into 2. King Ageless Gold flew along a corridor, while Ice Blade and Purple Bell King flew along another corridor. Obviously, they were already searching for treasures as fast as they could. Chapter 853. Ash Gold Emperor, Ice Blade and Purple Bell Emperor's team swiftly split into 2, following the 2 corridors to search. Ash Gold Emperor is the strongest and fastest, I'll follow him. Night Qin Emperor communicated. Tiger Thorn Emperor Yang, the 2 of you follow the other corridor. We definitely cannot let Ice Blade and Purple Bell Emperor get the treasure. Understood. They're dreaming if they think they can get the treasure. Tiger Thorn Emperor grinned and Luo Feng, swiftly becoming 2 beams of light and chasing. Night Qin Emperor too swiftly followed in Ash Gold Emperor's direction. The 2 teams split up and chased after him in 2 different directions. As the entire altar was infused with extremely complicated ancestral law engravings, under special usage, the entire space within the altar was sealed, making it impossible to teleport. Hence, the 2 teams could only rely on their speed to fly. At this time, Luo Feng's advantage was displayed. His silver wings flapped so, within the winding corridors, swiftly changing directions and increasing his speed. Even Tiger Thorn Emperor couldn't catch up. Yang, stop them at the front, distract them. Tiger Thorn Emperor knew his speed couldn't compare to Luo Feng. After all, Luo Feng's strength couldn't compare to theirs. The only reason he was invited was because of this advantage. Relax, leave it to me. Luo Feng's speed continued to rise. As the pathway was within the altar, and the core area was only over 10,000 kilometers in diameter, this dark and winding pathway was over 10,000 kilometers in diameter. It circled around many areas in the core area, some of which were very narrow. It constantly twisted and turned, even to the point where it was close to 180 degrees, causing Luo Feng to have to forcefully slow down to a stop and immediately turn. Under these corridors, the moment one sped up, one had to immediately slow down, accelerating and slowing down again. Every turn was a few km short, up to 100 km long. To an Emperor-level warrior, a single turn was the end of the road. This caused the warriors who were trying their best to speed up to be miserable. Just like on Earth's slums, the many winding alleys, even the best sports car wouldn't be able to reach its top speed in the winding alleys. To these beings that were close to light speed, the shortest turns were a few km long turns, up to 100 km long turns. It was simply torture. The longest turn is only 100 kilometers long. We have to slow down as soon as we accelerate. We can't increase our speed at all. We can only maintain a low speed. King Grayscale roared, his eyes filled with anger. Haha. King Azure Gold, your speed is astonishing, but you won't be able to make full use of your advantage in such a narrow place. I'm a member of the Winged Tribe, and I specialize in changing directions. Haha. Humph. King Ageless snorted and turned to look at King Nocturne. Boom. A bolt of lightning as thick as a water tank burst forth from King Greygold's eyes. As soon as it burst forth, it spread out like countless electric snakes coiling around each other, forming a huge electrical net that enveloped Night King. The passageway was only so wide, so the electrical net completely blocked the entire passageway. Boom! A cold glint flashed in the Night King's golden eyes, and his entire body turned into a beam of white light. He forcibly broke through the net, but it also affected his speed. You want to surpass me? Haha, Night King, you junior are dreaming. I'll always be ahead of you. As long as there's a treasure, I'll definitely be the first to get it. King Azure Gold sneered. Occasionally, he would turn and shoot out lightning from his eyes to stop Night King. Night King gritted his teeth, but couldn't do anything. Night King and King Azure Gold were in a stalemate. On the other side, Luo Feng was different. He naturally changed directions, hence the 6 warriors couldn't reach their maximum speed. Even Luo Feng couldn't do it. However, Luo Feng's specialization in changing directions gave him a huge advantage. In this peculiar passageway, he was almost 10 times faster than Purple Bell Emperor and Ice Blade. 10 times, what kind of concept was that? In an instant, he caught up, still trying to escape. In Luo Feng's vision appeared 2 silhouettes, one large and one small. It was Ice Blade and Purple Bell Emperor. He's caught up. Purple Bell Emperor noticed Luo Feng from the corner of his eyes as he turned, shocked. This Yang, he's so fast. It's fine, this Yang is the weakest of the 3. He's probably only good at flying in these narrow passageways. Ice Blade said confidently. Purple Bell Emperor, let's see what you can do. I can knock them back with one hit. Purple Bell Emperor said confidently. Luo Feng's speed was too fast. He immediately overtook them from the side. Howl! Purple Bell Emperor opened his mouth, and a howl that could be heard resounded. Simultaneously, that formless peculiar ripple immediately crashed into Luo Feng. His silver armor blocked the attack of the howl. Fortunately, some of the impact was absorbed by the cloud contact armor within the armor, and was blocked. Even though Luo Feng easily blocked it, his speed was still affected. Humph! Luo Feng's silver wings shook fiercely and he immediately unleashed his 3 beats to travel through universe. Hua! With a burst of speed, he became like a silver light, immediately passing by Purple Bell Emperor and Ice Blade. He was so fast that Purple Bell Emperor couldn't even react. "Quick, stop him," Ice Blade said urgently. "Purple Bell Emperor, you're the best at stopping." "Bastard." Purple Bell Emperor gritted his teeth and roared again. Immediately a ripple that could be seen with the naked eye formed a large bell. This large bell flew out like lightning. Its attack speed naturally far exceeded Luo Feng's flying speed. This ripple-formed large bell immediately enveloped Luo Feng, and with a violent rumble, it exploded. Luo Feng took the full brunt of the attack. "Damn!" Luo Feng's body trembled and his speed decreased. "You human, don't even think of getting the treasure. The treasure is mine." Purple Bell Emperor roared and communicated. "Rise." Luo Feng's wings shook. Wu Yu's wings were indeed powerful. Even though he was affected before, with just a flap of his wings, he once again flew out, causing Purple Bell Emperor and Ice Blade to be unable to catch up. I know why Night Chin Emperor invited him. This human's flying is too peculiar. His instantaneous speed is too shocking. Even in such a narrow and winding area, he can still be this fast. Ice Blade said. "Purple Bell Emperor, you only have this bit of ability. Haha, to get the treasure, keep dreaming." Luo Feng communicated. At the same time, he took a turn and entered another bend. Behind, Purple Bell Emperor could no longer be seen with his naked eye. Luo Feng couldn't attack even if he wanted to. "Bastard!" Chase. Purple Bell Emperor and Ice Blade gritted their teeth as they chased. Within the control room of the altar, the 4 warriors of the Flame Sacrifice continent were watching the two chase. These alien races are really powerful. The more they fight, the better. It's best if they kill each other. Chiu Chika looked at the projection and said coldly, "This group of alien races, back then it was the 4 pinnacle races that opened up the battlefield and destroyed our race and occupied our home. In the future, we will definitely let them taste what it feels like to be wiped out. Let them taste what it feels like to be wiped out too." The 4 emperors gritted their teeth, endless hatred filled their chests. However, they were clear, this was just their wish, an impossible wish. Even if their race was still around back then, and was countless times stronger than now, they would still be easily crushed by the pinnacle races. When a hunter kills large amounts of prey, the prey would definitely want revenge. However, if they were afraid of the prey's revenge, then they wouldn't be hunters. This was the survival of the fittest. There were plenty of resources in the universe, however the trillions of races were terrifyingly large too. Whichever race had more resources would depend on who was stronger. It was a plain survival of the fittest. 2 corridors, the path the 4 of them chose, is the closest to the first treasure room. That silver-winged human is the fastest, he's about to reach the first treasure room. Chiu Chika said softly. Luo Feng followed the corridors and swiftly observed the many large cabins along the corridors. With one look, he could see that the cabins were all empty, incredibly clean and without a single thing. Luo Feng saw a corridor ahead. The 100 wide cabin door was half open, and there was an Undying's corpse lying at the door. It's an Undying from the Flame Sacrifice Continent's aboriginal. It probably suffered a soul attack and died instantly. Luo Feng looked at the location of this cabin. It wasn't as random as the other cabins. This cabin was right in the middle and the corridor went around it. This caused Luo Feng to slow down and look carefully within. With a glance, there was a translucent platform within and before it sat a body crossed-legged. With Luo Feng's energy sensing, it should be the body of a fallen Undying. Simultaneously there were 3 normal book-sized gray chests placed on the platform. This made Luo Feng's eyes gleam. So, Luo Feng's wings shook and he drew an arc, whistling as he rushed into the cabin. The cabin was a few hundred meters long and wide. Luo Feng glanced at the body sitting cross-legged and didn't care about it at all. His gaze was mainly on the translucent platform in the center that was about 10 m long and wide. The translucent platform was filled with words, and these words were clearly from the human language library. It's the language of the Aboriginals of the Flame Sacrifice continent. Luo Feng had long learned everything in the database. With Luo Feng's mental calculation speed, a language could be learned in a few seconds and he could use it flexibly. This is... Luo Feng looked at the words and immediately understood. The words described, "Our clan is currently facing a calamity. The 3 chests in this treasure room each contain a world ring. The world rings contain large amounts of treasures. We hope our clan's descendants can help our clan rise once more." The treasure chests had a scanning system. Only our own clan members can open it, other races can't. The crafting is exquisite, using G9 grade metals with origin law engravings to make treasure chests. Luo Feng's gaze swept and saw the dense engravings on the chests. "I think forcefully breaking it open requires a universe knight's strength. Just this meticulously crafted chest alone is worth over 10 million mixed element. As for opening it, who cares, I'll settle it later." Luo Feng let out a smile and casually took the 3 treasure chests. "Leave the treasure behind." The ice blade flying outside the cabin sped up fiercely. Looking within the cabin, he gritted his teeth and roared. "The treasure is mine." Purple Bell Emperor's eyes were filled with madness. Even though the 2 of them didn't see the treasure chest, they saw Luo Feng standing in the cabin. With the urgency of searching for the treasure, it's impossible for him to stop at one place. If he stopped at one place, then there's definitely a treasure there that attracted him. "Ash Gold Emperor! Yang has acquired the treasure!" Ice Blade roared fiercely. The undying god energy was the transmission material. This roar immediately traveled along the pathway. The god energy's speed was shocking, and the pathway Wang Tsongjin Emperor chose was connected to the pathway Luo Feng's group chose. There was originally a spiral pathway. Treasure! King Chongjin, who was entangled in the fight, had a sharp gleam in his eyes. Yang has acquired the treasure? Knight Qin Emperor, however, was delighted. So. The 2 warriors immediately followed the sound and swiftly flew towards the pathway. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 854. Within the control room of the altar, Chio Chika and the other 3 aboriginals were nervously watching everything. Die, it's best if they all kill each other," the god Lord Pu Ai said, his eyes staring hard at the projection. "Watch carefully, see what these alien invaders have up their sleeves." Chio Chika communicated seriously. "Even though we are all Emperor level, as we've always been in hiding, we haven't truly fought to the death with the other emperors. And these alien invaders have always been fighting and killing. We have to watch them fight and learn from their experiences. Also, we know their trump cards. If we want to get the inheritance room and the treasure room's treasures, we can't just rely on schemes and planning, we have to rely on our true strength." "Yes, family elder." The other 3 nodded. They had long prepared to fight to the death. This battle would determine whether or not their bloodline would prosper. Within the first treasure room, just as Luo Feng kept the 3 treasure engraved boxes, Purple Zhong Emperor and Ice Blade rushed in with killing intent. This is a portion of the treasures the race left behind when they escaped. It's definitely much more valuable than a normal Emperor-level Undying's entire fortune. Purple Zhong Emperor communicated. "Ice Blade, even if we burn our undying bodies, we have to get the treasures." "I understand." Ice Blade's eyes were like venomous snakes. Of the 2 of them, Ice Blade was huge and Purple Zhong Emperor was small and skinny. However, in terms of strength, Purple Zhong Emperor was at the pinnacle of Emperor level, while Ice Blade was only at the upper level. The 2 communicated secretly. However, their speed didn't decrease at all as they charged straight into the treasure room. Luo Feng looked at the 2 Chi-Ho race warriors that charged in. Luo Feng flipped his hand and the blood shadow blade appeared. The silver wings on his back were slightly flapping. Cloud contact, help block them, Luo Feng ordered. Thin vines immediately sprouted from Luo Feng's shoulders. The vines were very thin when they first appeared. However, the moment they extended out, they swiftly expanded. Simultaneously, large amounts of vines and leaves grew out. Like a tidal wave, they rushed towards Purple Zhong Emperor and Ice Blade. Although the Cloud Contact Vine was a peak official rank, it was innately tough and had strong regenerative abilities. Its tenacity was comparable to an early-stage Emperor rank Undying Human. Perhaps there was still a huge gap between him and the peak-stage King-ranked Purple Bell King or the high-level King-ranked Ice Blade. However, just blocking them was still a very easy task. Blood Cloud, Purple Bell King roared. Hua! 2 blood-like flowers emerged from both sides of the Purple Bell King's waist, and as they extended out, they rapidly expanded. The huge flower was like a roof, directly blocking the large number of vines. The vines twisted around and tried to penetrate through the edge of the flower, but the edge of the flower was filled with sharp teeth, and it began to tear at the Clowscraper vines. In terms of offensive ability, the Clowscraper vines were clearly much weaker, and could only entangle their opponent. The two of them were equally matched. Support plant life forms are very rare for normal undyings. Even some of the titled officials have them. It's very common for titled officials to have support plant life forms, but normally they can only be nurtured to the pinnacle of undyings and titled officials. Luo Feng frowned when he saw this. I didn't expect this Purple Bell Emperor to have a peak official level blood demon flower. Don't even think of escaping. Purple Bell Emperor's ugly face smiled at Luo Feng. Humph. Luo Feng's wings shook and he immediately became a blurry beam of light, attempting to escape from the 100 m wide cabin door. With his escaping ability, being trapped within the cabin was very troublesome. The moment he got out, he would be free to escape. Gagaga! Ear-piercing laughter resounded. A huge blade appeared out of nowhere and slashed at Luo Feng. Break! The glaring silver rainbow was like a river flowing through the sky, immediately slashing apart the huge blade, causing the cabin space to tremble and shatter. However, it quickly recovered. Even though Luo Feng had defeated the opponent, his speed was affected. At this time, a message resounded from outside. Yang, I've come to help you. Tiger Thorn Emperor. Luo Feng was overjoyed within. Being trapped within the cabin, it was indeed very difficult to escape. However, with Tiger Thorn Emperor helping him, he would be able to fight the opponent head-on, and he would be able to find a chance to escape. Tiger Thorn Emperor! A raging ear-piercing cry resounded throughout the cabin. That skinny Purple Bell Emperor turned with a ferocious expression. Before him, 3 blazing bells appeared. Every single one of them burned and caused the surrounding space to shatter. After which, the 3 bells simultaneously flew towards Tiger Thorn Emperor, who was wielding 2 terrifying huge axes. Ha ha! Tiger Thorn Emperor laughed madly. Heaven and earth split open! Tiger Thorn Emperor's left axe protected his body, while his right axe slashed down. This slash, it was as though the skies and earth split apart. The terrifying power caused the entire area to become a chaotic space region. Seeing the axe slash towards the blood demon flowers that were blocking the cabin door, Purple Bell Emperor could only grit his teeth and use the 3 blazing bells to block the axe. Rumble, the huge axe's blade clashed with the 3 blazing bells. The force of impact caused the dense runes on the altar to flicker faintly. Then, it directly withstood the force of impact, and the altar itself was completely undamaged. Ice Blade, you and Blood Cloud will work together to stop that human. I'll stop Tiger Thorn Emperor. Purple Bell Emperor roared. Wait, once Ash Gold Emperor arrives, we'll definitely win. We don't need to defeat him. As long as we block the cabin door and don't let him out, we'll definitely win. Leave it to me. Ice Blade roared. While Purple Bell Emperor and Tiger Thorn Emperor were fighting outside the cabin door, Luo Feng and Ice Blade were fighting within. Luo Feng attacked time and again. Even though he was able to suppress Ice Blade wasn't afraid of death. He didn't care about anything else and only knew to stop Luo Feng. Along with the Blood Demon Flower's help, it really made it impossible for Luo Feng to rush out. Ash Gold Emperor. Purple Bell Emperor, who was struggling to defend, saw a bolt of lightning shooting over and was immediately overjoyed. That bolt of lightning was Ash Gold Emperor. Lightning flashed. Ash Gold Emperor had already arrived. Get lost. The Winged Gold King roared angrily. His roar directly resounded in the Tiger Thorn King's mind. The invisible soul attack was like a tyrannical lightning spear that attacked the Tiger Thorn King's body crazily, destroying the soul imprint in the Tiger Thorn King's immortal divine body. Even though Ash Gold Emperor specialized in body strength amplification and not soul amplification, his soul attack techniques, however, had a little bit of success. Tiger Thorn Emperor's soul trembled. He seemed a little sluggish. Purring. The Songjin King's huge foot stomped on the Tiger Thorn King's skull, causing it to cave in. At the same time, the Tiger Thorn King's body was thrown into the air and smashed into the wall of the corridor not far away. The wall of the altar shook slightly, and some of the engravings on it flickered. Move! Ash Gold Emperor communicated. Understood. Purple Bell Emperor communicated through his soul and ordered the Blood Demon Flowers. Blood Cloud, let Ash Gold Emperor enter. Heavily blocking the cabin door, the Blood Demon Flowers swiftly opened up a path for Ash Gold Emperor to rush in. Within the cabin, the Blood Demon Flowers and large amounts of cloud contact vines filled the entire cabin. It made the cabin seem like a world of flowers and vines, a world of plant. Human. Ash Gold Emperor rushed in and immediately attacked Luo Feng. Die for me! A true thunder long spear suddenly appeared in Ash Gold Emperor's hands. The long spear was simple and unadorned, with thunder flickering on it. Ash Gold Emperor roared and his entire body became smaller. However, his entire body glowed with a peculiar green light, almost like a green metal. This scene made Luo Feng's heart palpitate. Body amplification technique. Using this technique would cause the body to change. Right now, Ash Gold Emperor was using this technique. Xiao! Ash Gold Emperor roared and fiercely swung the long spear. All of his energy was infused into the long spear. In such a small area, with the speed of light, Luo Feng couldn't dodge at all. He could only close his wings and protect himself, while Ash Gold Emperor was using his body amplification technique. Chi! The thunder long spear pierced Luo Feng's wings. Luo Feng immediately flew backwards, pinned to the wall of the cabin by the lightning long spear. Accurately speaking, the lightning long spear only pierced Shi Wu's wings. It didn't even pierce through a little. However, that terrifying force still pinned Luo Feng to the wall for a short moment. What? Ash Gold Emperor was extremely shocked. It actually didn't destroy his body? His full strength attack, even though he knew it was hard to kill an Emperor-level Undying, in his eyes, this human Yang was only a high-level Emperor level. Even if he didn't die from his full strength attack, his body should have been blown apart. Yang! I'll hold Ash Gold Emperor back. Night Chin Emperor was like a blur as he charged in. Tiger Thorn Emperor and Purple Bell Emperor once again clashed. Night Chin Emperor! Ash Gold Emperor turned fiercely. His eyes flashed with thunder as he stared angrily at Night Chin Emperor. Even though Luo Feng blocked his attack earlier, Ash Gold Emperor was still clear that the biggest threat in the enemy team was Night Chin Emperor, followed by Tiger Thorn Emperor. Both of them were at the pinnacle of Emperor level. The one with the lowest threat was Yang. Ice Blade, hold Tiger Thorn Emperor back. Ash Gold Emperor ordered. Purple Bell Emperor, even if you burn your undying body, get the treasure. Leave Night Chin Emperor to me. Alright. Purple Bell Emperor gritted his teeth and immediately rushed into the cabin. and Ice Blade too went to hold Tiger Thorn Emperor back. As for Ash Gold Emperor, he reached out with one hand and the Thunder Spear landed in it. Ash Gold Emperor's cold gaze landed on Night Chin Emperor. Under the activation of his body technique, Ash Gold Emperor's entire body glowed with a green light. That formless pressure caused Night Chin Emperor's heart to palpitate. He could only carefully watch his opponent. Even if you burn your undying body, you have to get the treasure? Purple Bell Emperor gritted his teeth, his eyes filled with madness. Luo Feng wielded the Blood Shadow Blade and looked at Purple Bell Emperor. Fighting to the point of madness, burning his undying body was the only way. From the looks of it, for the treasure, I'm afraid they'll have to burn their undying bodies. Luo Feng thought within, however. I don't have an undying body. Hand over the treasure. Otherwise, you'll die. Purple Bell Emperor's eyes were filled with madness. Rumble. The three blazing bells immediately revolved, almost like a miniature star emitting endless light and heat, smashing straight at Luo Feng. P.S. I have to catch a flight tomorrow, so I won't stay up tonight.